Chapter 357. Once this person's words left his mouth, the crowd's expressions immediately changed as they were extremely shocked by Mo Qingyun's identity. They really didn't think that the youth in front of them, who was only at the first layer of the Yuan Dan realm, would actually be the champion of this year's grand examination, Mo Qingyun. The one who was fought over by the various hall masters, valued by the 3 elders of the academy, and now accepted as a personal disciple by the Wind Hall's hall master, Mo Qingyun. At this moment, the crowd finally understood why Mo Qingyun didn't fear Ling Yang. With Mo Qingyun's current status, he wasn't the slightest bit inferior to Ling Yang, the genius descendant of the Ling family. I didn't think that you would be the champion of the grand examination, Mo Qingyun. After knowing Mo Qingyun's identity, Ling Yang immediately felt an itch of hatred. He clenched his teeth and coldly said, "I really regret that I was soft-hearted that day and didn't directly kill you." From Ling Yang's point of view, if he had been a bit more ruthless that day and had directly gotten rid of Mo Qingyun wouldn't have had the opportunity to participate in the grand examination and wouldn't have had the opportunity to display his talent. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to become a carp entering the dragon's gate. It could be said that Ling Yang's one wrong step that day had led to his current state of affairs. The current Mo Qingyun had already become a force to be reckoned with. He was no longer someone that Ling Yang could casually manipulate. "I also regret that I didn't kill you that day and allowed you to continue to pester Han Yen," Mo Qingyun indifferently replied to Ling Yang's words. He and Ling Yang had a stance of confrontation. Seeing Mo Qingyun's attitude, a cold light flashed in Ling Yang's eyes. He clenched his fists and coldly said, "Mo Qingyun, out of respect for the hall master, as long as you promise to never pester Han Yen again, I can overlook your previous offenses." Hearing Ling Yang's words, Mo Qingyun looked at him with disdain and mocked. "Ling Yang, you don't need to give anyone face. If you have the ability, then just attack. There's no need for so much nonsense. If you don't dare to attack, then scram when you see me in the future. Mo Qingyun, you're courting death. You can't blame me for not giving the hall master face." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Yao's expression instantly turned ferocious. Mo Qingyun's words had already touched the bottom line of his patience. Heavenly God and Devil slash. Under Ling Yang's attack, an even more terrifying shadow of the gods and devils appeared behind him. As soon as the shadow of the gods and devils appeared, it held a wolf-toothed club and fiercely swung it at Mo Qingyun, creating a black club shadow. Under the bombardment of the club shadow, a terrifying gust of wind immediately erupted, creating a storm of dust. Burning Sun Mountain Splitting Blade, facing Ling Yang's attack, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and once again slashed at Ling Yang with his blade. As the blade slashed out, the red silk blade in Mo Qingyun's hand suddenly exploded with a shocking blade light. Bang! After the blade light and the club shadow collided, they immediately stopped in midair, like 2 bison with horns stuck in a stalemate. However, the scene at this moment was much more intense than a bison fight. At the place where the blade light and the club shadow collided, a shocking amount of sparks flashed. Mo Qingyun, although your ultimacy has reached the 7th level, your attack is not enough to break my celestial demon overbearing slash. Seeing that his attack was not damaged at all by Mo Qingyun's blade light, Ling Yang revealed a complacent sneer. "Is that so?" Hearing Ling Yang's complacent words, Mo Qingyun smirked and said coldly, "Since the 7th level of fire ultimacy can't break it, then I'll use the 8th level of fire ultimacy." Immediately, Mo Qingyun's aura immediately rose, and the heat wave he emitted became even more intense. Bang! After Mo Qingyun displayed the 8th level of fire ultimacy, the flames on the flaming blade light suddenly rose and exploded with a roar. Ka, then, under the bombardment of the flaming blade light, small cracks immediately appeared on the club in the hands of the shadow of the gods and devils. Bang! Soon, the mace was unable to withstand the heavy blow and instantly shattered like glass. After the flaming blade light shattered the club, Its power did not diminish and continued to bombard the shadow of the gods and devils, forcefully bombarding the shadow of the gods and devils. Facing the bombardment of the flaming blade light, the shadow of the gods and devils seemed to have no power to resist and was forcefully defeated and dissipated. Pucci, the shadow of the gods and devils, which was connected to his mind, was once again forcefully defeated. Ling Yang could no longer suppress the turbulence in his blood and qi and spat out a mouthful of blood. 8th level of fire ultimacy. You have actually comprehended the 8th level of fire ultimacy? After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Ling Yang looked at Emo Qingyun in disbelief, unable to accept this result. 8th level of fire ultimacy. Following Ling Yang's words, the expressions of the surrounding people changed greatly, their hearts filled with shock. During the grand examination, Emo Qingyun had only displayed the 7th level of fire ultimacy, but now he had displayed the 8th level of fire ultimacy. Could it be that his fire ultimacy had a breakthrough recently? Just at the first level of the Yuan Dan realm, he had already comprehended the 8th level of fire ultimacy. What kind of heaven-defying talent was this? If this was not the case, did it not mean that Emo Qingyun had already comprehended the 8th level of fire ultimacy before entering the Yuan Dan realm? If this was really the case, Emo Qingyun's talent was simply too monstrous. Not to mention the great Yen martial house, someone with such monstrous talent could probably be found in the entire province. At this moment, the crowd finally understood how monstrous Emo Qingyun's talent was. Scram! Don't ever appear in front of me again. While the crowd was still in shock, Emo Qingyun coldly spoke to Ling Yang. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Ling Yang's expression darkened, gnashing his teeth as he glared at Emo Qingyun. However, after glaring angrily at Emo Qingyun for a while, Ling Yang coldly snorted, and finally left obediently. He had no choice, because he felt that if he did not scram, Emo Qingyun would probably attack him again. Emo Qingyun was not afraid, as he was a direct descendant of the Ling family. Since Emo Qingyun dared to forcefully beat Ling Chong half to death in the grand examination, then he would also dare to beat him half to death. After Ling Yang left for a while, the crowd finally regained their senses, unable to believe the result. When a first-level Origin Core Stage martial artist fought a peak 5th-level Origin Core Stage martial artist, he was actually able to easily crush his opponent. There was probably no other person with such terrifying combat strength in the entire Dian province. He really did it, he defeated Ling Yang. Seeing Emo Qingyun defeat Ling Yang, Long Hanyan revealed an excited smile, her jade-like hands tightly clenched into fists. This meant that Emo Qingyun was qualified to fight Lu Yanjun. This kid is so strong, he will definitely win the first place in the Best Newcomer King battle in 10 months. The Best Newcomer King battle is no longer a challenge to him. He already has the qualifications to challenge an expert on the Earth role. He just entered the academy, and he already has the combat strength to defeat an expert on the Earth role. His battle results are enough to be recorded in the history of Dian province. At this moment, the crowd was looking at Emo Qingyun with mixed emotions. Let's go. Emo Qingyun ignored the crowd's gazes and walked up to Long Hanyan, smiling faintly at Long Hanyan. Okay. After Long Hanyan heard this, she nodded in response and left with Emo Qingyun. After a while, Emo Qingyun and Long Hanyan arrived at a short hill in the Wind Temple. Why are you looking for me? Long Hanyan tilted her head and revealed a sweet smile as she asked Emo Qingyun. I plan to enter the Wind Cliff to cultivate. I'm afraid I won't be able to see you for the time being. Emo Qingyun did not beat around the bush and directly answered Long Hanyan. After hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan's expression changed slightly. Her eyes revealed a trace of reluctance as she asked, How long are you going to cultivate at the Wind Cliff? It's hard to say. If it's fast, it'll be a month. If it's slow, it'll probably take a few months. Emo Qingyun thought for a moment before replying to Long Hanyan. He then continued, "After coming out of the wind cliff, I'll be the first to see you." After hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan blushed. She glared at Emo Qingyun and said shyly, "Who wants to see you? You'd better stay at the wind cliff and never come out." After hearing Long Hanyan's words, Emo Qingyun could not help but be stunned. He then revealed a bitter smile. In that case, it seemed that he was imagining things. After seeing Emo Qingyun's deflated expression, Long Hanyan covered her mouth and laughed. She looked extremely beautiful. Seeing Long Hanyan's expression, Emo Qingyun could not help but be stunned. A strange feeling rose in his heart. As soon as this feeling appeared, it instantly took root in Emo Qingyun's heart and grew vigorously. In my previous life, I was obsessed with cultivation and did not even experience love. Now I'm like a chick. Thinking of the emotional experience in his previous life, Emo Qingyun could not help but sigh in his heart. He smiled bitterly and said, "It seems that I've lived in vain in my previous life. In this life, I don't want to be like my previous life. I want to live a different life." Seeing that Emo Qingyun was silent, Long Hanyan frowned slightly and said softly, "Are you angry?" "No." Emo Qingyun shook his head and replied to Long Hanyan, "Give me your hand." Long Hanyan lowered her head. Her face was red as she whispered to Emo Qingyun. Hearing Long Hanyan's words, Emo Qingyun showed some confusion. He looked at Long Hanyan with a confused expression. However, Emo Qingyun still raised his hand and put it in front of Long Hanyan. Seeing Emo Qingyun put his hand in front of her, Long Hanyan's left hand gently grabbed Emo Qingyun's wrist. Her right hand was writing on Emo Qingyun's palm. Long Hanyan's fingers were very soft. The feeling of writing on his palm was soft and warm. This feeling was very strange and very comfortable. Done. After a while, Long Hanyan's face was red. She let go of Emo Qingyun's hand and said shyly, "I'll leave first." Following that, Long Hanyan was like a little white rabbit that ran away, quickly returning to the Earth class. "Don't worry about me. I'll be fine in the Earth class. I'll wait for you to come back from Guanfen Cliff, Hanyan." Just now, what Long Hanyan wrote on Emo Qingyun's hand were these few words. The words on the palm. Thinking back to Long Hanyan's actions, Emo Qingyun unconsciously held the right hand that Long Hanyan was writing on. Chapter 358. A moment later, Emo Qingyun arrived in front of a valley. In front of the valley, there were two towering stone pillars. Above the two stone pillars there was a huge stone plaque. On the plaque, there were three huge words written in an ancient style, "Guanfen Cliff." This is Guanfen Cliff. Seeing the words on the plaque, Emo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He walked towards the two stone pillars. When he arrived in front of the two stone pillars, Emo Qingyun saw that there was a green light screen in the middle of the two stone pillars. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and took out the key that Lin Tang had given him. As Emo Qingyun took out the key, it immediately fluctuated and flew towards the green light screen in the middle of the stone pillars. When the key flew into the green light screen, a gap appeared in the light screen, big enough for a person to enter. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately walked into the light screen. Then, the scene in front of Emo Qingyun changed and became a scene of a cliff. At the bottom of the cliff, there was a bottomless valley. Emo Qingyun had a feeling that if he fell, even Yuan Dan, a level 9 expert, would be smashed to pieces. The path at the edge of the cliff was very narrow, less than half a meter wide. It could barely accommodate one person. Emo Qingyun took a quick look at his surroundings. Then, he no longer hesitated and walked forward along the cliff. Whoosh! When Emo Qingyun took a step forward, a violent gust of wind swept towards him. Under the gust of wind, there were wind blades that cut Emo Qingyun's body madly. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh! Under the cutting of these wind blades, Emo Qingyun's clothes were instantly cut open. If not for Emo Qingyun's strong body, his skin would have been cut open by the wind blades when he was caught off guard. This gust of wind actually contains a bit of the profound meaning of wind. Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious and he immediately released level 1 profound meaning of wind to block the attack of these wind blades. Then, Mo Qingyun continued to walk along the cliff, slowly heading towards the top of the cliff. Not long after, a huge stone platform appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. On this platform, there were many youths sitting cross-legged, silently cultivating. In front of the platform, there was a long stone staircase. At this moment, there were a few youths climbing up the stone staircase. But from their looks, it was very strenuous. At this moment, the crowd on the stone platform noticed Mo Qingyun's arrival. Level 1 of the Yuan Dan realm? Who is this kid? How dare you come to Guanfeng Cliff with this level of cultivation? It should be a new student who just entered the academy in this year's grand examination. New student? It doesn't seem easy for a freshman to get the key to enter Guanfeng Cliff. So what if he is not simple? Don't tell me he can climb the wind ladder of enlightenment. In a moment, the crowd was pointing at Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun ignored the crowd's gazes and slowly walked towards the stone staircase. As he walked closer to the stone staircase, Mo Qingyun felt a very pure profound meaning of wind from the stone staircase. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's expression changed as he gained a better understanding of Wind Cliff. He thought to himself, looks like if I want to comprehend the profound meaning of wind, I still have to climb this stone staircase. With this thought, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and directly walked towards the stone staircase. Kid, if you don't want to die, you'd better obediently cultivate on the wind comprehension platform for a year before attempting to climb the wind comprehension stairs. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun prepared to climb the stone staircase, a youth with a cold expression said coldly to Mo Qingyun. This youth's cultivation was not weak. Yuan Dan's cultivation was at the peak of the 6th level and his comprehension of the profound meaning of wind had also reached the 5th level. From the strength he displayed, he was much stronger than Ling Yang. They were not on the same level at all. Looks like this arrogant youth should also be an expert on the heaven and earth ranking. Mo Qingyun sized up the youth and smiled faintly. He replied, "Thank you for your kindness, senior brother. I'll be very careful." Then, Mo Qingyun did not say anything else and turned to look at the wind comprehension stairs. Seeing Mo Qingyun's behavior, a person beside the indifferent youth said unhappily, "He doesn't know what's good for him." Senior brother Lan Ao kindly reminded him, but he didn't appreciate it. "That's right. I'm certain that he won't even be able to climb the first step of the wind comprehension stairs before he'll be blasted down by the astral winds on the wind comprehension stairs," another person said with disdain. Mo Qingyun did not pay any attention to these people's behavior and directly walked up the wind comprehension stairs. Then, Mo Qingyun stepped on the wind comprehension stairs and walked up to the first step. As soon as Mo Qingyun walked up the wind comprehension stairs, he felt a terrifying astral wind pressing down on him, trying to blast him down the stairs. The wind power is close to the first level of the profound meaning of wind. Feeling the power of the profound meaning in the wind power, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly and he smiled faintly. After that, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and walked up the second step of the stone stairs. After seeing this scene, the expressions of everyone on the wind comprehension platform changed. They were somewhat shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions. This kid actually succeeded in climbing the wind comprehension stairs. The person who mocked Mo Qingyun was surprised. This kid is not simple. At this moment, while everyone was still in shock, Lan Ao revealed a cold expression and spoke in a cold and deep voice. Not simple. Hearing Lan Ao's evaluation of Mo Qingyun, everyone was shocked by Lan Ao's words. Lan Ao was an expert ranked 9th on the Heaven and Earth ranking list. He actually had such a high evaluation of Mo Qingyun. Such an outcome was out of everyone's expectations. Could it be that Mo Qingyun was really not simple? At this moment, everyone was puzzled and became curious about Mo Chingyun. Senior Lan Ao, how many steps do you think this kid can climb? At this moment, a young man asked Lan Ao softly with respect. 30 steps. Hearing the young man's question, Lan Ao was silent for a while and said his guess. At this moment, just as Lan Ao finished speaking, not far away, a young man in white waved the folding fan in his hand and looked at Mo Chingyun on the wind comprehension stairs. He waved his hand and said, "No, he can climb to the 40th step." 40th step. Hearing the young man in white's words, everyone was shocked again and the shock on their faces intensified. A kid at level 1 Yuan Dan realm could climb to the 40th step of the wind comprehension stairs. This was too frightening. The more steps one climbed on the wind comprehension stairs, the stronger one's comprehension of the ultimacy. To climb to the 40th step of the wind comprehension stairs, one had to comprehend at least level 4 wind ultimacy. Yuan Dan realm level 1 wind ultimacy comprehended at level 4 wind ultimacy. Was this possible? However, no one dared to question the words of the young man in white. This was because the young man in white was more powerful than Lan Ao. He was the expert ranked 6th on the Heaven and Earth ranking list, Ning Wei. Since he said so, it meant that it might be possible. Senior Ning Wei, do you really think that the kid can climb to the 40th step of the wind comprehension stairs? Hearing Ning Wei's words, Lan Ao also showed a surprised expression and asked Ning Wei. It's just a feeling. Ning Wei smiled faintly and replied to Lan Ao. He then looked at Mo Chingyun with interest and said, "Looks like there are quite a few geniuses in this year's grand examination. It's a pity that we didn't go and watch." After Ning Wei finished speaking, he didn't say anything else and silently watched Mo Chingyun climb the stairs. Seeing that Ning Wei didn't speak, the crowd didn't speak either. They silently sat on the wind comprehension platform and watched Mo Chingyun climb the stairs. A few minutes later, on the wind comprehension stairs, Mo Chingyun successfully climbed to the 10th step of the wind comprehension stairs and stood firmly on it. After seeing this scene, everyone's expression froze, and their expressions became somewhat nervous. In a few minutes, Mo Chingyun easily climbed to the 10th step of the wind comprehension stairs. This ability wasn't simple at all. After pausing for a few breaths' time, Mo Chingyun continued to climb the wind comprehension stairs under the crowd's gaze. With one step, Mo Chingyun climbed to the 11th step of the wind comprehension stairs. Wind power comparable to the second level of the wind esoteric meaning. Once he climbed to the 11th step of the wind comprehension stairs, Mo Chingyun felt that the pressure of the wind on the stairs was even stronger. He thought to himself, "It seems like every level of the esoteric meaning is evenly distributed to the 10 steps of the wind comprehension stairs, allowing one to gradually comprehend the esoteric meaning." After pausing for a while, Mo Chingyun didn't hesitate and walked towards the 12th step of the wind comprehension stairs. As Mo Chingyun climbed up the stone steps, the pressure he felt increased bit by bit. A quarter of an hour later, Mo Chingyun successfully climbed to the 20th step of the wind comprehension stairs. Moreover, his movements were extremely relaxed. In just a quarter of an hour, he reached the 20th step of the wind comprehension stairs. This kid is terrifying. Seeing Mo Chingyun's performance, a person on the wind comprehension platform said in shock. Under the crowd's shock, Mo Chingyun once again lifted his foot and walked towards the 21st step of the wind comprehension stairs. Half an hour later, Mo Chingyun successfully climbed to the 29th step of the wind comprehension stairs. His expression was as relaxed as ever. However, the crowd on the wind comprehension platform immediately tensed up as they looked at Mo Chingyun anxiously. Just one more step and Mo Chingyun would reach the 30th step. He had achieved Lan Ao's prediction. Could he do it? Just like that, under the crowd's gaze, Mo Chingyun took a step forward and stood firmly on the 30th step of the wind comprehension stairs. 30th step. Emo Qingyun really stepped onto the 30th step of the wind comprehension stairs. However, to everyone's surprise, Emo Qingyun didn't stop after stepping onto the 30th step of the wind comprehension stairs. Instead, he continued climbing. 2 hours later, Emo Qingyun stopped again and stood firmly on the 40th step of the wind comprehension stairs. His expression was still calm. However, compared to Emo Qingyun's calmness, Ning Wei and the rest on the wind comprehension platform were shocked and nervous. 40th step. Emo Qingyun really did it. He successfully stepped onto the 40th step of the wind comprehension stairs. Could it be that he... Chapter 359. Emo Qingyun lifted his foot again. Was he going to continue climbing the wind enlightenment stairs? Seeing Emo Qingyun's action, everyone trembled and looked at Emo Qingyun in shock. At this moment, Emo Qingyun's actions were truly beyond their expectations. Could it be that Ning Wei's previous estimation of Emo Qingyun was not Emo Qingyun's limit? Just like that, under everyone's gaze, Emo Qingyun lifted his foot and stepped on the 41st stair of the wind enlightenment stairs. Hold on. Seeing Emo Qingyun standing steadily on the 41st stair of the wind enlightenment stairs, everyone was shocked and their heartbeats quickened. Emo Qingyun had broken Ning Wei's previous estimation. His limit was not just the 40th stair. He had successfully reached the 41st stair of the wind enlightenment stairs. A person at level 1 Yuan Dan realm could reach the 41st stair of the wind enlightenment stairs. This performance was unbelievable. Now, everyone was shocked by Emo Qingyun's performance. On the wind comprehension stairs, Emo Qingyun lifted his right foot and landed on the 42nd step of the wind comprehension stairs. Seeing Emo Qingyun lift his foot again, everyone immediately held their breaths and looked at Emo Qingyun nervously. Could Emo Qingyun reach the 42nd stair of the wind enlightenment stairs? At this moment, Emo Qingyun's face was filled with anticipation. Emo Qingyun once again stood steadily on the 42nd stair of the wind enlightenment stairs. Then, under everyone's gaze, Emo Qingyun slowly climbed the wind enlightenment stairs. 2 hours later, Emo Qingyun's body once again stepped on the wind enlightenment stairs and stood steadily on it. After witnessing this scene, the entire Guanfeng cliff suddenly became absolutely silent. The 50th stair. Emo Qingyun had reached the 50th stair of the wind enlightenment stairs. A kid at the first level of the origin core stage actually accomplished this. It was too unbelievable. Senior Ning Wei. He has reached the 50th stair of the wind enlightenment stairs. Lan Ao's face was full of shock. His face was full of disbelief as he uttered a shocking sentence. At this moment, Ning Wei's face was also filled with shock. He asked Lan Ao, who was beside him, "Lan Ao, do you still remember the highest record of Yuan Dan's cultivation in the Wind Hall?" Hearing Ning Wei's words, Lan Ao pondered for a moment before replying, "It seems to be the 67th layer. The person who set this record is the current Soaring Dragon Academy's elder, Ing Feng." 67 layers. Ning Wei silently repeated this number, his expression becoming more serious as he looked at Emo Qingyun on the wind comprehension stairs. At this moment, when Ning Wei looked at Emo Qingyun, Lan Ao's expression suddenly changed. She looked at Ning Wei in shock and said, "Senior brother Ning Wei, you mean?" And, seeing Lan Ao's expression, Ning Wei nodded and didn't say anything more. Hearing Ning Wei's expression, Lan Ao immediately became nervous and looked at Emo Qingyun on the wind comprehension stairs. Would Emo Qingyun be able to break Elder Ing Feng's record? Following this, everyone silently looked at Emo Qingyun as he slowly ascended the wind comprehension stairs. Several hours later, just as everyone was looking at Emo Qingyun with numb expressions, Ning Wei's body suddenly trembled and his expression began to twitch. The 68th layer. Emo Qingyun had successfully stepped onto the 68th layer of the wind comprehension stairs. In other words, the Dian province's many-years-old record had been broken by Emo Qingyun at this moment. He actually did it. Ning Wei's face was filled with shock. A strong feeling rose in his heart as he sighed. I didn't think that we would all be wrong this time. This kid isn't an ordinary person. Yeah, this kid's performance is too shocking. Lan Ao also had a bitter smile on her face as she sighed in her heart. I really didn't think that such a monster would appear in this year's grand examination. Letting out a sigh, Lan Ao and Ning Wei once again looked at Mo Qingyun and continued to watch Mo Qingyun climb the wind comprehension stairs. An hour later, on the wind comprehension stairs, Mo Qingyun stopped moving forward and sat cross-legged on the wind comprehension stairs. This meant that Mo Qingyun had reached his limit and could no longer move forward. 72 layers. Mo Qingyun's limit was 72 layers. Yuan Dan Realm First Layer had stepped onto the 72nd layer of the wind comprehension stairs. This kind of result, although it couldn't be said that no one would be able to do it in the future, it was at least unprecedented. 72 layers. Is this the kid's limit? Knowing this result, Ning Wei had a bitter smile on his face as he felt a strong sense of self-mockery. What was laughable was that when he first saw Mo Qingyun, he actually thought that Mo Qingyun would only be able to reach the 40th layer. No wonder this kid can enter the wind cliff with only Yuan Dan Realm First Layer cultivation base. What a freak. Compared to Ning Wei's self-mockery, Lan Ao felt a little ashamed and his face flushed. With Yuan Dan Realm's 6th layer cultivation base, his comprehension of wind profundity was actually far from Mo Qingyun's. At this moment, while Ning Wei and the others were still in shock, outside the wind cliff, in a palace, at this moment, everyone in the main hall also had a shocked expression on their faces. 72 layers. Mo Qingyun is really monstrous. No wonder he told us to pay attention to him. Yuan Dan Realm First Layer Cultivation Base has stepped onto the 70th layer of the wind comprehension stairs. Doesn't this mean that his wind profundity has reached the 7th layer? I have to report this news to the temple master immediately. Everyone in the palace sighed as one of the elders quickly left the palace. Wind Palace, in the temple master's main hall. At this moment, while Lin Tang and the others were talking, a technique imparting teacher quickly walked into the main hall with a shocked expression. Tang Jin greets the temple master and the elders. The technique imparting teacher walked into the main hall and respectfully bowed to Lin Tang and the others. Teacher Tang Jin, there's no need to be so courteous. Seeing Tang Jin's actions, Lin Tang waved his hand with a faint smile and asked, Teacher Tang Jin, why are you here? As soon as he heard Lin Tang's question, Tang Jin's expression immediately became excited as he responded, replying to Hall Master, just now the Earth class students reported to me that Mo Qingyun came to the Earth class not long ago. Because of Long Hanyan, he and Ling Yao had a quarrel and finally the two of them fought outside the Earth class. Mo Qingyun fought with Ling Yang because of Long Hanyan? Hearing Tang Jin's words, Lin Tang's expression immediately shook and he asked with a nervous expression, Ling Yang fought with Mo Qingyun. Is Mo Qingyun injured? Mo Qingyun was the Wind Palace's treasure. If he was injured because of this, it wouldn't be good. Mo Qingyun is injured? Hearing Lin Tang's question, Tang Jin bitterly smiled and shook his head, not knowing what to say. Seeing Tang Jin's bitter smile, Lin Tang's expression became more serious and he hurriedly asked, Teacher Tang Jin, is Mo Qingyun's injury very serious? Very serious injury? Hearing Lin Tang's words, the bitter smile on Tang Jin's face became even more intense and he became even more depressed. Seeing Tang Jin's expression, Lin Tang's face immediately darkened and he said coldly, This Ling Yang is really bold. Does he really think that I don't dare to teach him a lesson just because he's a direct descendant of the Ling family? At this moment, Lin Tang's body emitted a cold aura when he said this. Seeing Lin Tang's behavior, Lin Shi immediately frowned and advised, Big brother, don't get agitated. Let Teacher Tang Jin finish speaking. Hearing Lin Shi's words, Lin Tang's expression improved a little. He looked at Tang Jin and said, Teacher Tangjun, tell me exactly what happened. Don't leave out anything. Yes, Palace Master. Tang Zhen respectfully responded and said, according to the student who reported to me, the truth was that Ling Yang did not injure Mo Qingyun. Instead, it was Mo Qingyun who injured Ling Yang. During the fight, Mo Qingyun even displayed the 8th level of the esoteric fire. 8th level of the esoteric fire. When Tang Zhen's words left his mouth, Lin Tang and the others were immediately stunned. They couldn't believe their ears. Mo Qingyun's esoteric fire had actually reached the 8th level? This was too shocking. One had to know that Mo Qingyun's current cultivation was only at the 1st level of the Yuan Dan realm. A 1st level Yuan Dan realm cultivator comprehending the 8th level of the esoteric fire. In the entire history of Dian province, this had probably never happened before. 8th level of the esoteric fire. How did this kid do it? Lin Tang revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. He couldn't calm down for a long time. This news was too unexpected for him. Not only Lin Tang, but Lin Shi and the others were also shocked. They were extremely surprised by this result. Big brother, with Mo Qingyun's esoteric fire, shouldn't we let him come to the Wind Hall? At this moment, Lin Shi revealed a guilty expression as she spoke to Lin Tang. In her opinion, with Mo Qingyun's talent in cultivating the power of fire, coming to the Wind Hall was like casting pearls before swine. Hearing Lin Shi's words, Lin Tang frowned. He felt that Lin Shi's words made sense. Thump, thump, thump. At this moment, while Lin Tang and the others were silent, a figure hurriedly walked into the hall. Hall Master, this old man has something to report. As soon as this figure walked into the hall, he revealed an excited expression and reported to Lin Tang. Elder Wu Shuani, what do you have to report? Hearing this elder's words, Lin Tang was slightly stunned. He exclaimed, could it be that Mo Qingyun has entered the Wind Cliff? Wu Shuani was the elder in charge of the Wind Cliff. Previously, Lin Tang had instructed him to pay attention to Mo Qingyun's situation. If Mo Qingyun had entered the Wind Cliff, he was to report to him. In Lin Tang's opinion, this should be the reason why Wu Shuani had come. Yes. Wu Shuani nodded in response. He said in an excited tone, Hall Master, as soon as Mo Qingyun entered the Wind Cliff, he began to climb the Wind Comprehension stairs. Not long ago, he reached the 72nd step of the Wind Comprehension stairs. 72nd step. Hearing Wu Shuani's words, the hall fell silent. Everyone's mouths were wide open as they felt disbelief. This news was simply too unbelievable to them. Mo Qingyun had reached the 72nd step of the Wind Comprehension stairs. Didn't this mean that his esoteric fire had reached the 7th level? More importantly, Mo Qingyun's esoteric fire had reached the 8th level. Chapter 360. 72 Wind Stairs of Enlightenment. Lin Tang was stunned when he heard that. Then, he became excited and laughed out loud. Good lad. You can't be judged by an ordinary person. Unknowingly, you have comprehended the Wind Ultimacy to the 7th level. This time I was wrong. Lin Shi smiled and sighed. Her tone was a little excited as she said, in that case, his cultivation of the power of wind doesn't seem to be inferior to his cultivation of the power of fire. He is really a genius. Yes, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe that there is such a talented person in the world. It seems that there is no doubt about who will be the first in the battle of the newcomer king in 10 months. The elders at the side all revealed excited expressions as they spoke words of relief. You are wrong. At that moment Lin Tang was overjoyed. He said, with this lad's talent, not only will he be the first in the battle of the newcomer king, as long as he enters any cohort, he will be the first in that cohort. Hearing Lin Tang's words, everyone's expression changed. They immediately understood what Lin Tang meant. With Mo Qingyun's ultimacy and his powerful martial soul, no one in the same cohort could compare to him. Elder Wu Xuanyi, bring us to Wind Observation Hall. After calming himself down, Lin Tang instructed Wu Xuanyi and walked out of the hall. After a while, Lin Tang and the rest arrived at Wind Observation Hall under Wu Xuanyi's lead. As soon as Lin Tang arrived at Guanfeng Hall, he lifted his head and looked at the huge light screen. On the light screen, the situation of Mo Qingyun and the others in Wind Viewing Cliff was displayed without missing a single detail. When Lin Tang and the others looked at the screen of light, doubt immediately appeared on their faces, and they felt puzzled. Wasn't Mo Qingyun at the 72nd level? Why didn't they see Mo Qingyun on the 72nd Wind Stairway of Comprehension? After discovering this, Lin Tang revealed a puzzled expression. He asked Wu Xuanyi, Elder Wu Xuanyi, didn't you just say that Mo Qingyun reached the 72nd level of the Wind Stairway of Comprehension? Why don't I see him now? Hearing Lin Tang's words, Wu Xuanyi was embarrassed. He didn't know how to respond. Because he didn't see Mo Qingyun's figure on the 72nd Stairway of Enlightenment. At that moment, when Wu Xuanyi was at a loss for words, a young man in Wind Observation Hall said excitedly, Hall Master, Mo Qingyun climbed 5 levels. He is now at the 77th level. 77th level. Hearing the young man's words, Lin Tang and the others were shocked. They looked up at the 77th Wind Stairway of Comprehension. Soon, they saw a familiar figure on the 77th step of the Wind Stairway of Comprehension. It was Mo Qingyun. Seeing Mo Qingyun on the 77th Wind Staircase of Comprehension, Lin Tang and the others instantly became excited. It would appear that Mo Qingyun's wind profundity had not just entered the 7th level. Instead, he had entered it long ago. If this continues, it won't be long before this kid's wind ultimacy will enter the 8th level. After watching the scene on the light screen, Lin Tang's face revealed a gratified smile, and he looked at Mo Qingyun with even more satisfaction. If I'm not wrong, his wind ultimacy will reach perfection before he reaches the intermediate level of Yuan Dan. Lin Shi was also shocked. He couldn't help but sigh. He had never seen Mo Qingyun's talent. Elder Wu Xuanyi, go to the Wind Cliff immediately and warn the disciples there. After a short moment of silence, Lin Tang's expression turned solemn as he said to Wu Xuanyi, tell them not to make any noise about Mo Qingyun's performance on the Wind Comprehension Stairs. Otherwise they will be severely punished. Yes, Palace Master. Hearing Lin Tang's order, Wu Xuanyi didn't dare to hesitate and immediately went to Wind Observation Cliff. Lin Tang and the rest stayed in Wind Observation Hall to observe Mo Qingyun's cultivation progress. At this moment, in a courtyard of Earth Palace, a rough young man walked out of the small house with a cold expression. His body emitted a domineering aura. This young man was Lu Yangsong's elder brother, Lu Yanjun, who was ranked 19th on the Earth list. He, who had been cultivating all this time, finally came out of seclusion. However, Lu Yanjun's cultivation hadn't broken through to the 7th level of Yuan Dan. Instead, it was at the quasi-Yuan Dan 7th level. Brother Lu, congratulations on reaching the advanced quasi-Yuan Dan level. At this time, when Lu Yanjun walked out of the small house, a cold and arrogant young man in the small courtyard congratulated him. It's just the quasi-Yuan Dan 7th level. There's nothing to congratulate me about. Lu Yanjun responded indifferently to the former's congratulatory words. He said impatiently, Leng Yang, tell me what you're here for. Don't beat around the bush. Haha, it's nothing important. I'm just here to see how Brother Lu is doing. Leng Yang smiled faintly. A trace of hypocrisy flashed in his eyes as he greeted Lu Yanjun. There's nothing good about it. I'm just cultivating and improving my cultivation. Lu Yanjun's tone was still cold as he replied to Leng Yang. He said impatiently, Leng Yang, if you're just here to say these words, I don't have time to accompany you. Leave. As soon as Lu Yanjun's words fell, he made an inviting gesture, ordering Leng Yao to leave. Brother Lu, don't be impatient. Please listen to me. Seeing Lu Yanjun's actions, Ling Yang smiled faintly and said, Brother Lu, you should know that while you were in seclusion, Brother Lu Yangsong had an accident. His cultivation was destroyed by a kid. What? My second brother's cultivation was destroyed by someone? Hearing Ling Yang's words, Lu Yanjun was shocked. His face darkened and he said angrily, Tell me, who destroyed my second brother's cultivation? Seeing Lu Yanjun's expression, Ling Yang smiled coldly and said, Brother Lu, don't be too impulsive. That kid's identity is not simple. I advise you to swallow your anger. Tell me, who destroyed my second brother's cultivation? Hearing Ling Yang's words, Lu Yanjun immediately gnashed his teeth. He urged Ling Yang and said malevolently, I don't care who he is. Since he dared to destroy my second brother, I, Lu Yanjun, will make him regret being born into this world. Seeing Lu Yanjun's expression, Ling Yang's eyes flashed with coldness. He smiled coldly, pleased with himself, and said, His name is Mo Qingyun, the champion of this year's grand examination. It's said that he has the strength to fight against an advanced Yuan Dan. Brother Lu, if you want revenge, you'll have to think twice. A kid who just entered the academy, how strong can he be? Lu Yanjun said disdainfully. His face darkened as he stood up and left the courtyard. Seeing Lu Yanjun's actions, Ling Yang immediately revealed a sinister smile and said proudly, Mo Qingyun, since you dare to oppose me, I'll let you experience my methods. Immediately after, Ling Yang and Lu Yanjun went to the Wind Hall's human class, wanting to find Mo Qingyun for revenge. Bang! The door to the Wind Hall's human class was forcefully kicked open by Lu Yanjun's foot. Opening the door to the Wind Hall's human class, Lu Yanjun's cold gaze swept over the Wind Hall's human class, searching for Mo Qingyun's figure. After sweeping his gaze, Ling Yang's expression became somewhat unsightly. He grabbed a student and said coldly, Where's Mo Qingyun? Where did he go? Hearing Ling Yang's cold words, the student's face instantly paled. He said with a frightened expression, Senior, Mo Qingyun hasn't come to class for a few days. We don't know where he went. He's actually hiding. Hearing the student's reply, Lu Yanjun coldly snorted and revealed a sinister expression, Mo Qingyun, even if you can hide for a few days, you won't be able to hide forever. I don't believe that you'll never come out. Mo Qingyun hasn't come to the academy for a few days? Hearing the student's reply, Ling Yang's eyes narrowed and a sinister smile appeared on his face. He said to Lu Yanjun, Brother Lu, I have a method that can help you force Mo Qingyun out. I wonder if you're willing to give it a try? What method? Hearing Ling Yang's words, Lu Yanjun's face darkened as he asked Ling Yang. Hearing Lu Yanjun's question, the corners of Ling Yang's mouth curled and he coldly smiled. I heard that Mo Qingyun has a few good friends who entered Dian province with him in this year's grand examination. If Brother Lu wants to force Mo Qingyun out, perhaps you can start with them, you mean to say? Hearing Ling Yang's words, Lu Yanjun's eyes immediately lit up as he understood Ling Yang's meaning. That's right. Ling Yang smiled sinisterly, revealing a sinister smile, and said, Of course there are a few people that you can't touch. First, there's Long Yutian, he's the young master of the Long clan. He's not someone you can touch. There's also Lu Fengliang and Ling Luo. They're both from the 10 great kingdoms and are vassals of the Imperial Yi clan. You can't touch them rashly either. I can't touch any of them. Why are you talking nonsense with me? Hearing Ling Yang's words, Lu Yanjun's face was filled with displeasure as he spoke to Ling Yang. Brother Lu, don't be impatient. Let me finish. Ling Yang smiled faintly as he waved his hand to signal Lu Yanjun to calm down. He continued, I heard that Mo Qingyun is extremely lecherous. The remaining 2 of his good friends are both charming beauties. If you touch them, Mo Qingyun will definitely be very sad. These two girls, one of them is called Ruo Shui, who cultivates in the ice hall. The other one is called Wang Zishu, who's in the pill hall. Lin Yang revealed the identities of the two girls. Then, revealing a sinister smile, he analyzed to Lu Yanjun, however, I suggest you make a move on Wang Zishu. That's because Wang Zishu has a grade 13 martial spirit. If you touch her, I'm afraid it'll be very troublesome. Even your Lu clan won't be able to deal with the aftermath. Lu Yanjun wasn't a fool. After hearing Ling Yang's words, he quickly understood the stakes involved. Chapter 361. Lu Yanjun and Ling Yang parted ways. Without hesitation, Lu Yanjun headed straight for the Ice Palace. Lu Yanjun is too rash. I'd better follow him in case I'm careless. Seeing Lu Yanjun's actions, Ling Yang sneered and quietly followed behind Lu Yanjun. After a while, Lu Yanjun arrived at the Ice Palace. Junior sister, do you know where junior sister Ruo Shui lives? Arriving at the Ice Palace, Lu Yanjun found a female student and inquired about Ruo Shui's residence. Senior brother, are you also one of junior sister Ruo Shui's admirers? Hearing Lu Yanjun's words, the female student from the Ice Palace giggled and pointed to a row of quiet courtyards in front of them. Senior brother, follow this path. The one with the most people outside the courtyard is where junior sister Ruo Shui live. In the female student's opinion, Lu Yanjun must be someone who admired Ruo Shui and had come to ask about Ruo Shui's residence. Admirer? The corners of Lu Yanjun's mouth curled up into a cold smile. Then, he walked directly to the row of courtyards. You didn't even say thank you. How rude. It's best if you don't even see junior sister Ruo Shui. Seeing Lu Yanjun's attitude, the female student from the Ice Palace was displeased and spoke with dissatisfaction. After a while, a courtyard full of people appeared in front of Lu Yanjun. At this moment, there were many luxuriously dressed young men outside the courtyard. They seemed to be waiting for Ruo Shui to come out. It seemed like they were all Ruo Shui's admirers. Glancing at the crowd before him, Lu Yanjun did not waste any time and walked directly into the courtyard. Boy, stop right there. Seeing Lu Yanjun's actions, the crowd outside the courtyard was displeased and scolded Lu Yanjun. Then, one of them walked out from the crowd and looked at Lu Yanjun arrogantly. Boy, if you want to see Miss Ruo Shui, go to the back and line up. You're courting death. Hearing the man's words, Lu Yanjun's face darkened and sent the man flying with a punch. Bang! Under Lu Yanjun's punch, this person who only had a cultivation at the 3rd level of the origin core stage practically didn't have the strength to resist before being blasted flying. Puff! That person coughed up blood and his face paled as he looked at Lu Yanjun in terror. Seeing Lu Yanjun's action, the others at the side were also shocked, and their bodies unconsciously retreated. Lu Yanjun's strength was terrifying. Senior brother, it's a fair competition. Don't you think you're going overboard by doing this? After a brief moment of fear, these people mustered up their courage and complained to Lu Yanjun. Lu Yanjun ignored everyone's reaction and directly walked into the small courtyard. Seeing Lu Yanjun's actions, the people outside the small courtyard immediately looked at each other, hesitating whether they should also enter the small courtyard. While everyone was hesitating, Lu Yanjun walked into the small courtyard and saw a beautiful girl in blue clothes. This young girl was Ruo Shui, who had come to the Ice Palace. Ruo Shui's current cultivation had already reached the mid-2nd level of the Yuan Dan stage. Who are you? Seeing Lu Yanjun appear in the small courtyard, Ruo Shui's brows furrowed slightly. She revealed a displeased expression and said coldly, You are not welcome here. Please leave immediately. Leave? Hearing Ruo Shui's words, Lu Yanjun revealed a cold expression. He looked at Ruo Shui and sneered, Originally, I couldn't bear to kill such a beautiful girl like you. However, I met someone I shouldn't have met. Landslide and earth rend. After Lu Yanjun finished speaking, He didn't say anything more to Ruo Shui and directly threw a punch at her. Under Lu Yanjun's punch, shocking rock fist shadows instantly exploded under Ruo Shui's feet, giving off a terrifying aura. Ice Seal. Facing Lu Yanjun's attack, Ruo Shui's expression turned cold. She didn't dare to hesitate and immediately counterattacked. With a swing of her sword, an icy blue sword radiance suddenly burst out and swept forward. Wherever the icy blue sword radiance passed, it immediately turned snow-white and condensed into a thick layer of ice. Bang! The rock fist shadows hit the icy blue sword radiance and immediately exploded it, giving off a crisp sound. After destroying the icy blue sword radiance, the rock fist radiance's attack didn't weaken at all and continued to crush Ruo Shui. Then, Ruo Shui was engulfed by the rock fist radiance and received a powerful attack. Poo work! Ruo Shui fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Her face became somewhat pale and her expression became even colder. Soul transformation. Immediately, Ruo Shui didn't hesitate anymore and completed the soul transformation in an instant, transforming into a huge colorful butterfly. However, Ruo Shui didn't continue to exchange blows with Lu Yanjun. Instead, she turned around and flew out of the small courtyard. The difference between her and Lu Yanjun's cultivation was too great. Continuing to exchange blows would be disadvantageous to her. It was better to leave first. You can't escape. Seeing Ruo Shui transforming into a colorful butterfly and preparing to escape, Lu Yanjun's face fell and chased closely. Rock dragon descending from the sky. In hot pursuit, Lu Yanjun threw a punch at Ruo Shui again. A gray essence force storm burst out from his fist. Once this essence force storm blasted out, it transformed into a rock dragon and chased after Ruo Shui with extreme speed. Bang! Facing Lu Yanjun's attack this time, one of the wings of Ruo Shui, who transformed into a colorful butterfly, was injured again. With her wings injured, Ruo Shui's body became unstable and fell from midair. At this time, Lu Yanjun and Ruo Shui's exchange attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Seeing this scene, the crowd outside Ruo Shui's house was instantly enraged. Bastard, how dare you attack Miss Ruo Shui? I'm going to cripple you. This is too much. Uncle can tolerate it, but Aunt can't. I'm going to fight it out with you. Bastard, it's fine if you hit me, but you can't touch Miss Ruo Shui. You've gone too far. In an instant, Ruo Shui's admirers rushed towards Lu Yanjun as if they were injected with chicken blood. Get lost. Looking at the crowd rushing towards him, Lu Yanjun's face fell. With a gloomy face, he threw a punch at them. Bang bang bang. These people's cultivation wasn't very strong. Basically, they were around Yuan Dan Stage 3. Facing Lu Yanjun's attack, they were immediately sent flying. Miss Ruo Shui, hurry up and leave. We'll stop him. When these people attacked Lu Yanjun, one of them didn't forget to remind Ruo Shui. Hearing these people's words, Ruo Shui gritted her teeth. Without hesitation, she got up and ran out of the ice palace. Little girl, you can't escape. At this moment, just as Ruo Shui was about to leave the ice palace, a cold voice entered her ears. Underworld poisonous blood palm. Following that, Ruo Shui saw a purple palm shadow, carrying a terrifying poisonous gas, fiercely smashing towards her back. Ruo Shui was in a severely injured state. Moreover, the person who attacked her had a cultivation level that was far higher than hers. Before she could react, the purple poisonous palm hit her back forcefully and sent her flying. Fortunately, I caught up. Otherwise, this opportunity would have failed. In this case, Mo Qingyun would probably go crazy. Haha. After sending Ruo Shui flying with a palm, the person moved and quickly left the place. When the person left, Lu Yanjun had already severely injured all those who were blocking his way and sent them flying to the side. After dealing with those who were blocking his way, Lu Yanjun's face was gloomy as he continued to walk towards Ruo Shui. Who dares to cause trouble in the ice palace? At this moment, when Lu Yanjun was walking towards Ruo Shui, a terrifying aura came from midair. Then, the crowd saw several figures flying towards them at high speed. They were the Ice Palace's elders and training instructors. You're lucky. Seeing the crowd arriving, Lu Yanjun said coldly and quickly left the place. Ruo Shui. When the elders and teachers of the Ice Palace saw the severely injured Ruo Shui, they said nervously, "Oh no, this is the underworld poisonous blood palm." Luckily, the person who attacked her didn't have a high cultivation level. She can still be saved. Everyone, let's not waste any more time. Let's send Ruo Shui to the Pill Palace. At this moment, another elder of the Pill Palace urged the crowd with a solemn expression. He then said, "Teacher Songlan, you stay here and take care of the injured students." Then, the crowd sent Ruo Shui to the Pill Palace and asked the elders to save her. In the Wind Observation Hall, Lin Tang and the others stayed here and observed Mo Qingyun's cultivation on the Wind Comprehension stairs through the light screen. At this moment, when the crowd was paying attention to Mo Qingyun's cultivation progress, Mo Qingyun stood up on the Wind Comprehension stairs. After Mo Qingyun stood up, he took a step forward and stepped onto the Wind Comprehension stairs that was one step higher. Then, Mo Qingyun stood up and walked up the Wind Comprehension stairs steadily. He took another step forward, the 80th step of the Wind Comprehension stairs. Mo Qingyun stepped onto the 80th step of the Wind Comprehension stairs. At this moment, he broke his record again. Moreover, this wasn't his limit. From the looks of it, he still had hope to continue climbing up. Stepping onto the 80th step of the Wind Comprehension stairs meant that Mo Qingyun's Wind Profound Meaning was only one step away from the 8th level. After stepping onto the 80th step of the Wind Comprehension stairs, Mo Qingyun sat down with his legs crossed and started to comprehend the Wind Profound Meaning. The 80th step of the Wind Comprehension stairs. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance on the light screen, Lin Tang's face lit up with joy. His expression was a little excited as he said, "Just one more step and this kid's Wind Profound will reach the 8th level. Can he do it?" The higher the level of the profound meaning, the harder it was to increase it. It was especially difficult to increase the level of the profound meaning. Then, Lin Tang and the others looked nervous as they continued to check on Mo Qingyun's progress in the Wind Observation Hall. 5 days later, Mo Qingyun, who was cultivating, stood up again and looked at the higher Wind Comprehension stairs with determination. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, the expressions of the people in Guanfeng Hall immediately froze and they became a little nervous. Mo Qingyun was going to continue climbing the Wind Comprehension stairs. Just like that, Mo Qingyun took another step forward under the gazes of everyone. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun leaped up and directly stepped onto the 81st step of the Wind Stairway of Enlightenment. This meant that Mo Qingyun's Wind Profound Meaning had reached the 8th level. He did it! Chapter 362. After a short while, the elders of the Ice Palace brought Ruo Shui to the residence of an elder of the Pill Palace. As soon as they arrived, they asked the elder for help, begging her to save Ruo Shui. After a short while, a Heaven Star Border Realm Level 1 elder came to Ruo Shui's side. The elder walked to Ruo Shui's side and tried to save her, stabilizing her injuries and dispelling the poison in her body. Under the elder's treatment, drops of purple poisonous blood flowed out from Ruo Shui's fingers. This is troublesome. This girl's physique is cold and it's the same attribute as the underworld poisonous blood palm. After a short while, the elder frowned and her face turned serious. She said in a deep voice, "During this period of time, a part of the poison has entered her bloodline and merged with it. I'm afraid it'll be very difficult to expel the poison completely." "Elder Xianyi, don't you have a way?" Hearing the elder's words, an elder of the Ice Palace frowned and asked nervously. "Elder Wu Qing, the poison has merged with her bloodline. Even a Heaven Star Border Realm expert won't be able to expel it. Elder Xian Yi had a difficult expression on her face. She frowned and said in a deep voice, "Currently, I can only stabilize the spread of her poison. However, if I want to remove the poison from her body, I will need the Purity Ice Jade Pill refined from the 1,000-year Ice Lotus." 1,000-year Frost Lotus. Hearing Elder Xian Ye's words, everyone of the Ice Palace was stunned. Their expressions turned serious. The 1,000-year Frost Lotus was a treasure that was extremely rare even in the region, let alone the Great Yin dynasty. If that was the case, it would be too difficult to save Ruoshui. What should we do? Wu Qing's face was filled with nervousness. He said anxiously to an elder of the Ice Temple, "Elder Wu Xiang, go and find out who injured Ruoshui." "Yes, Elder Wu Qing." Hearing Wu Qing's words, Wu Xiang nodded and immediately left. After instructing Wu Xiang, Elder Wu Qing revealed a pleading expression and said to Elder Xian Yi, "Elder Xian Yi, please help stabilize Ruoshui's injuries. I will first return to the Ice Hall to report to Vice Hall Master Ruoshui Yunxia." Then, Wu Qing and the others left the Pill Palace and returned to the Ice Palace to report to the Deputy Palace Master. "All right." Xian Yi replied to Wu Qing and instructed a disciple at the side, "By Feng, go and find Zishu. With the help of her Tree of Life martial spirit, it will be easier to stabilize Ruoshui's injuries." "Yes, Master." Bai Feng nodded and left the main hall to invite Wang Zishu over. Zishu's master. After a short moment, Wang Zishu arrived at the hall and bowed to Xian Yi. Seeing Wang Zishu's arrival, Xian Yi revealed a happy expression. She waved at Wang Zishu and said, "Zishu, summon your Tree of Life martial spirit and help me suppress the poison in this disciple's body." "Yes, Master." Wang Zishu responded and walked towards Ruoshui. "Ruoshui, she's injured." Wang Zishu walked to Ruoshui's side. After seeing Ruoshui's appearance, she was shocked. She never thought that Ruoshui would be the one who was injured. Then, Wang Zishu and Xian Yi suppressed the poison in Ruoshui's body to prevent it from spreading. A few hours later, Wang Zishu and Elder Xian Yi stopped their actions. The poison in Ruoshui's body was finally suppressed by them. "Master, I need to leave the Pill Palace for a while." After suppressing the poison in Ruoshui's body, Wang Zishu no longer hesitated. She prepared to tell Mo Qingyun and the others that Wang Zishu was injured. "Let your senior sister Bai Feng follow you. If anything happens, she can help you deal with it." Hearing Wang Zishu's words, Xian Yi said to Wang Zishu out of concern. She then said to Bai Feng, "Bai Feng, follow Zishu to prevent anyone from disturbing her." "Thank you, Master. I'll take my leave." Seeing Xian Ye's arrangement, Wang Zishu thanked her and left the Pill Palace with Bai Feng. They went to the Wind Palace to find Mo Qingyun. An hour later, Wang Zishu and Xian Yi arrived at the Wind Palace's human class. "Senior brother, do you know where Mo Qingyun is?" Wang Zishu arrived at the human class. Seeing that Mo Qingyun wasn't in the class, she asked a student. Junior sister, I don't know where Mo Qingyun is. I'm really sorry." Hearing Wang Zishu's words, the student's expression immediately became emotional and he replied nervously, "Thank you, senior brother." Hearing his words, Wang Zishu revealed a trace of disappointment. She thanked him and said to Bai Feng, "Senior sister, let's go." "Okay." Bai Feng nodded and followed Wang Zishu out of the Wind Hall's human class. She joked, "Junior sister Zishu, your charm is really great." When that silly boy heard your words, he immediately became so nervous that he couldn't even speak. Of course. Hearing Bai Feng's words, Wang Zishu blushed and felt a little embarrassed. At the moment when Wang Zishu and Bai Feng were talking, Yi Wuyo hurriedly rushed over with a nervous expression. As Yi Wuyo approached, she quickly saw Wang Zishu and Xian Yi. Yi Wuyo quickly walked over and asked, "Zishu, how are Ruoshui's injuries?" Where's junior brother Mo? Ruoshue's injuries are very serious. If she wants to recover, she must find the 1,000-year frost lotus and refine the ice-dew golden pill. Wang Zishu replied to Yi Wuyo and revealed a disappointed expression. She continued, Qingyun isn't in the class. I asked the students in the class, but they don't know where Qingyun is either. Why did that boy disappear at this time? Hearing Wang Zishu's words, Yi Wuyo revealed an anxious expression and said unhappily, That's right, I heard that the person who injured Ruoshue was Lu Yanjun from the Earth Palace. He did this to take revenge on Mo Qingyun for crippling Lu Yangsong. I'm worried that he will attack Long Yutian and the rest. Ah. Then let's not delay any longer. Let's go find Yutian and the rest immediately. Hearing Yi Wuyo's words, Wang Zishu immediately revealed a worried expression and urged Yi Wuyo. Then, Yi Wuyo and the rest found Long Yutian and the rest. To their relief, Long Yutian and the rest were not injured. Zishu, how are Miss Ruoshue's injuries? Long Yutian revealed a concerned expression and asked Wang Zishu about Ruoshue's injuries. My master suppressed the poison in Ruoshue's body. Her life is not in danger for now. Wang Zishu replied to Long Yutian with a serious expression. She continued, however, to completely neutralize the poison in her body, we must find the 1,000-year frost lotus. Otherwise, Ruoshue will continue to be in a deep sleep. 1,000-year frost lotus. Hearing Wang Zishu's words, Yi Wuyo and the rest's expressions instantly turned serious. The 1,000-year frost lotus was not easy to obtain. At least, it rarely appeared in the Great Yin dynasty. Thinking of this, everyone's hearts instantly sank and they all fell silent. After a short period of silence, Long Yutian revealed a puzzled expression and asked Wang Zishu and the rest, Where's Qingyun? Why don't I see him? We just went to the Wind Hall's Earth class and did not find him. Later on, we went to the Tianyin mansion and did not see him either, Wang Zishu replied. At this moment, while Wang Zishu was speaking, Yi Wuyo's eyes suddenly lit up and he exclaimed, That's right, Han Yen is also in the Wind Hall. She might know where Qingyun went. Let's go ask her now. Then, everyone went to find Long Han Yen and asked about Mo Qingyun. Soon, under Yi Wuyo's lead, everyone arrived at the Wind Hall's Earth class and found Long Han Yen. After finding Long Han Yen, Yi Wuyo did not beat around the bush and directly asked, Han Yen, do you know where junior brother Mo is? Seeing the arrival of Yi Wuyo and the rest, Long Han Yen revealed a surprised expression and replied, Qingyun went to the Wind Cliff? Why are you looking for him? Wind Cliff. Hearing Long Han Yen's words, Yi Wuyo immediately frowned and his expression became serious. He said in a deep voice, So he went to the Wind Cliff to cultivate. No wonder he didn't know about Ruoshue's injury. Ruoshue is injured? Hearing Yi Wuyo's words, Long Han Yen revealed a surprised expression and asked Yi Wuyo, Who attacked and injured Ruoshue? Lu Yanjun. Yi Wuyo revealed a furious expression and clenched his fists tightly. Looking at his appearance, he could not wait to teach Lu Yanjun a lesson. Lu Yanjun has come out of seclusion. Hearing Yi Wuyo's words, Long Han Yen's expression suddenly changed and unconsciously revealed a trace of worry. After a brief moment of shock, Long Han Yen's expression changed and guessed a possibility. She exclaimed, In that case, Lu Yanjun injured Miss Ruoshue to take revenge on Qingyun for crippling Lu Yangsong. That's indeed the case. Long Yutian revealed a serious expression and replied to Long Han Yen. He then asked Yi Wuyo, Senior Sister Wuyo, what do we do now? Is there a need to ask? Of course we go to the Wind Cliff to call the boss out and kill that Lu Yanjun. Ling Luo revealed an indignant expression and said angrily, Ling Luo, you can't. Hearing Ling Luo's words, Lu Fengliang immediately raised his hand to stop Ling Luo and said with a serious expression, Brother Mo is now cultivating in the Wind Cliff. This kind of opportunity is very rare. We can't force him out. Brother Liang, what do you think we should do now? Ling Luo asked Lu Fengliang with an unhappy expression and clenched his fists tightly. Let's not be rash for now and not disturb Brother Mo's cultivation. Lu Fengliang's face was solemn as he instructed the group. He then said, Next, we will observe Ruoshui's injuries while we search for information about the Millennium Ice Lotus. We will wait for Brother Mo to come out of the Wind Cliff. Then it's decided. Hearing Lu Fengliang's suggestion, Yi Wuyo and the rest nodded in agreement. They felt that Lu Fengliang's suggestion was feasible. Chapter 363. While Yi Wuyo and the others were searching for information about the Millennium Ice Lotus and waiting for Mo Qingyun's return from the Wind Cliff. Within the Hidden Dragon Institute, rumors about Lu Yanjun suddenly became a hot topic. Have you heard? Yang Wanli, ranked 17th on the Earth Board, was defeated by Lu Yanjun, ranked 19th. Your news is too outdated. Yesterday, Jin Peng, ranked 16th on the Earth Board, was defeated by Lu Yanjun in 3 moves. Your news is also outdated. Not long ago, Yu Zhan, ranked 14th on the Earth Board, was defeated by Lu Yanjun. Lu Yanjun is actually so strong. Do you think he can still defeat those who are ranked higher? With regards to Lu Yanjun's forceful challenge, everyone's hearts were filled with shock. This time, Lu Yanjun had risen up strongly. Following that, Lu Yanjun broke his own record again and again, defeating those who were ranked higher than him. 5 days later, Jiang Dan, ranked 12th on the Earth Board, was challenged and defeated by Lu Yanjun. 8 days later, Cheng Hui, ranked 11th, was defeated by Lu Yanjun after 100 moves. 10 days later, Xue Linhao, ranked 10th, was defeated by Lu Yanjun after 300 moves. Lu Yanjun defeated Xue Linhao, ranked 10th on the Earth Board, and his reputation rose again. In this period of time, he instantly became the most famous person in the Hidden Dragon Academy. Have you heard? Lu Yanjun defeated Xue Linhao, ranked 10th on the Earth Board. I heard that Lu Yanjun is preparing to challenge Lan Ao, ranked 9th, in 2 days. Lan Ao seems to be very strong. Can Lu Yanjun defeat him? Suddenly, Lu Yanjun became the focus of everyone's discussion. Another 5 days later, while everyone was anxiously waiting for Lu Yanjun and Lan Ao's battle, a piece of shocking news spread to everyone's ears. Lan Ao, ranked 9th on the Earth Board, was cultivating in the Wind Cliff and could not accept Lu Yanjun's challenge. Therefore, Lu Yanjun directly challenged He Jiyu, who was ranked 8th, and successfully defeated her. In other words, Lu Yanjun's true strength was ranked 8th on the Earth Board. As soon as this explosive news came out, Lu Yanjun's reputation within the Hidden Dragon Institute once again rose to a new height. Big news, big news. Lu Yanjun has defeated He Jiyu, who is ranked 8th on the Earth ranking. We've long known about this. Furthermore, I've also heard that the Earth Palace's Vice Palace Master has already accepted Lu Yanjun as his personal disciple. Are you serious? If that's the case, wouldn't Lu Yanjun soar to the sky in one go? At that moment, everyone was filled with envy, jealousy, and respect toward Lu Yanjun. At this moment, while everyone was discussing Lu Yanjun, in the side mansion of the Tianyan Mansion. Today, after Yi Wuyo heard the latest rumors about Lu Yanjun, he came to the side mansion of the Tianyan Mansion with a heavy expression. He looked at Yi Wuyo and the others and said, Sister-in-law Wuyo, Han Yen, and everyone else, let me give you a piece of advice. It's best if you cut ties with Mo Qingyun as soon as possible. Otherwise, you'll be implicated by Mo Qingyun and suffer the same fate as Ruoshui. Ling Yang, shut up. Yi Wuyo's expression darkened when he heard Ling Yang's words. He said furiously, I'm only doing this for your own good. Since you don't appreciate it, so be it. Ling Yang curled his lips and sneered complacently as he replied to Yi Wuyo. At this moment, Lu Yanjun slowly walked out after Ling Yang's words. He said disdainfully, "Go back and tell Mo Qingyun that he shouldn't think he'll be fine just because he hides. I'll give him 3 days. If he still doesn't appear, I'll wipe out the entire Mo clan." "Lu Yanjun, don't you dare!" Long Yutian's face immediately turned cold when he heard Lu Yanjun's words. Killing intent radiated from him. If Lu Yanjun really dared to do this, he would teach the Lu clan a lesson even if he had to risk exposing Mo Qingyun's identity. Lu Yanjun smiled disdainfully when he saw Long Yutian's attitude. He replied, "Long Yutian, although you're the young master of the Long clan, don't forget that your clan has already lost its power. I advise you to mind your own business so as not to cause trouble for your clan." Long Yutian's face darkened when he heard Lu Yanjun's words. He was furious. This Lu Yanjun was too arrogant. He had no regard for anyone. Brother Yutian's clan has lost its power. What about me? At this moment, as Lu Yanjun's face was filled with arrogance and complacency, Long Hanyan coldly said to him. Lu Yanjun's smile froze when he heard Long Hanyan's words. He looked fearful. Long Hanyan's position in the Long clan was extremely high. If she were to step in, there might be some trouble. Ling Yang sneered when he saw Lu Yanjun's fearful expression. He said, "Han Yan, a country bumpkin like Mo Qingyun isn't worth it for you to do so much for him. Why don't you turn to me instead?" "You shameless!" Long Han Yan was furious when she heard Ling Yang's words. She shouted coldly at Ling Yang. "Shameless? You'll realize that I'm a real man in the future." Ling Yang didn't care about Long Hanyan's scolding. He smiled faintly and said shamelessly. He turned to Lu Yanjun and said, "Brother Lu, let's go." Following that, Ling Yao and the others arrogantly walked out of the Great Yen martial house with their heads held high. "These guys are too arrogant." Ling Luo was furious when he saw Ling Yang and the rest walking away. He clenched his fists and was about to explode. In the Wind Cliff, while Lu Yanjun was in the limelight, Mo Qingyun's cultivation progress was also very fast on the Wind Enlightenment Stairs. Mo Qingyun stepped on the 81st Wind Enlightenment Stairs. 2 days later, Mo Qingyun, who had been cultivating all this while, slowly opened his eyes and smiled faintly as he looked at the Wind Comprehension Stairs above him. Glancing at the Wind Comprehension Stairs above, Mo Qingyun lifted his foot and walked up. This time, Mo Qingyun stepped on the Wind Enlightenment Stairs 3 times in a row and directly reached the 84th step. After stepping onto the 84th step of the Wind Stairway of Enlightenment, Mo Qingyun sat down cross-legged and continued to comprehend the wind profundity. 5 days later, Mo Qingyun stood up again and climbed higher on the Wind Enlightenment Stairs. This time, Mo Qingyun climbed up 6 steps in a row, reaching the 89th step of the Wind Stairway of Enlightenment. 8 days later, Mo Qingyun once again exited from his cultivation and climbed up the Wind Comprehension Staircase to set a new record. After a short while, Mo Qingyun stopped. He had already stepped on the 93rd step. This meant that his wind profundity had reached the 9th level. At the same time, Mo Qingyun sat down again and continued to comprehend the Wind Enlightenment. 15 days later, Mo Qingyun, who was in the midst of cultivation, opened his eyes in delight and continued climbing the remaining Wind Staircase of Comprehension. Several hours later, Mo Qingyun stepped onto the 99th step of the Wind Stairway of Comprehension. He was only 1 step away from reaching the top. Seeing this scene, Lin Tang and the others immediately became nervous. Their heartbeats unconsciously sped up. Could Mo Qingyun reach the top? It was a miracle that he could reach the top of the Wind Enlightenment Stairs with a cultivation of level 1 Yuan Dan realm. At this moment, under everyone's gaze, Mo Qingyun lifted his right leg again and stepped on the top of the Wind Enlightenment Stairs. Then, he leaped and stepped on the top of the Wind Enlightenment Stairs. He did it! Chapter 364. This kid actually did it. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Lin Tang was overjoyed. He was extremely excited. Lin Tang's life was not in vain to have such a disciple. This kid is really unexpected. While Lin Tang was shocked, Elder Lin Shi and the others were also shocked. They could not believe it. They did not expect Mo Qingyun to reach the top of the Wind Enlightenment Stairs with a cultivation of LV1 Yuan Dan realm. Inside the Wind Cliff, seeing Mo Qingyun reach the top of the Wind Enlightenment Stairs, Ning Wei, Lan Ao, and the others were stunned. Originally, they thought that Mo Qingyun reaching the 30th or 40th step of the Wind Enlightenment Stairs should be the limit. They did not expect Mo Qingyun to reach the top directly. This result was too shocking. Even Ning Wei, who was the strongest among them, could not reach the top of the Wind Enlightenment Stairs. It seemed that Mo Qingyun's Wind Enlightenment concept had surpassed Ning Wei's. We have underestimated this kid. This guy is a monster. Ning Wei had a bitter smile on his face. His tone was somewhat emotional as he sighed emotionally. It is unbelievable that this kid's talent is so monstrous. Lan Ao was also shocked. He could not calm down for a long time and sighed. At this moment, while everyone was still in shock, Mo Qingyun climbed to the top of the Wind Comprehension Stairs and sat down cross-legged to cultivate. During this period, although Mo Qingyun did not cultivate much, his cultivation had reached the peak of LV1 Yuan Dan realm due to his body constitution. Seeing that his cultivation had reached the peak of LV1 Yuan Dan realm, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately started to cultivate. He was ready to break through his cultivation. Then, Mo Qingyun started to absorb the origin energy of heaven and earth to improve his cultivation. As Mo Qingyun absorbed the origin energy of heaven and earth, a origin energy storm formed around his body. It was very imposing. This brat has such a terrifying cultivation speed. Can his body withstand the crazy absorption of heaven and earth yuan qi? After seeing this scene, everyone revealed shocked expressions and felt incomparably surprised in their hearts. Several hours later, Mo Qingyun stopped absorbing the yuan qi of heaven and earth and started compressing and condensing the yuan qi in his body. While condensing and compressing the yuan energy in his body, Mo Qingyun began to integrate the wind profound into his yuan energy. With the previous experience, it was much easier for Mo Qingyun to integrate the profundity of wind into his essence energy now. After several hours of hard work, Mo Qingyun finally successfully fused the profundity of wind into his essence energy. Immediately, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately condensed the second Yuan Dan in his dantian. Half a day later, Mo Qingyun, who was at the top of the Wind Enlightenment Staircase, suddenly felt his aura increase by several times. Mo Qingyun's cultivation had broken through to LV2 Yuan Dan stage. After breaking through to LV2 Yuan Dan stage, Mo Qingyun did not stop cultivating and continued to stabilize his cultivation. Just like that, several hours passed before Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating, and a brilliant smile appeared on his face. In less than a month after entering the Wind Cliff, not only had his Wind Profound reached LV9, but his cultivation had also broken through to LV2 Yuan Dan stage. It could be said that he had gained a lot from this trip to the Wind Cliff. Immediately, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and prepared to leave the Wind Cliff. At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun was about to leave the Wind Cliff, he suddenly felt a wave of fluctuation from the Light Door Martial Spirit. The Light Door Martial Spirit has some fluctuations. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun sensed the changes in the Light Door Martial Spirit and checked the changes in the Light Door Martial Spirit. After a while, Mo Qingyun found that there was another mini Light Door Martial Spirit in the Light Door Martial Spirit. In other words, the Light Door Martial Spirit had another Martial Spirit super ability. 3 Martial Spirit super abilities. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's face was immediately filled with shock and disbelief. Under normal circumstances, A martial spirit could only have one martial spirit super ability. His light door martial spirit originally had two martial spirit super abilities, which was already very incredible. He did not expect that the light door martial spirit would have another martial spirit super ability. This situation was beyond Mo Qingyun's expectation. A martial spirit that had awakened three martial spirit super abilities. If this news were to spread, it would probably scare people to death. I wonder what this third martial spirit super ability is? Mo Qingyun thought to himself, but he did not display it immediately. After all, there were many people around. He did not want to expose this martial spirit super ability. Then, Mo Qingyun planned to continue to stay and walk down the wind comprehension stairs. Now that his wind ultimacy had reached perfection and his cultivation had also broken through, it was time to leave the wind cliff. Seeing Mo Qingyun coming down the wind comprehension stairs, Ning Wei and the others below looked at Mo Qingyun with great changes. There was no other way. With Mo Qingyun's previous performance, as long as he did not die midway, he would definitely become an existence that everyone looked up to. Then, Mo Qingyun walked out of the wind cliff under everyone's gaze. Junior brother Lan Ao, let's go. Seeing Mo Qingyun leave, Ning Wei did not want to stay any longer. He said to Lan Ao and got up to go out of the wind cliff. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived at the wind cliff. At this moment, Lin Tang and the others had already arrived at the wind cliff. Disciple Mo Qingyun greets master and elders. Seeing Lin Tang and the others in front of him, Mo Qingyun showed respect and bowed to them. Haha, no need to be so polite. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Lin Tang showed a gratified smile. He waved his hand at Mo Qingyun and said with a faint smile, "You brat, you've comprehended the wind ultimacy to the 7th level and you didn't even tell me. It's only the 7th level of ultimacy. There's nothing to be proud of." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied to Lin Tang without the slightest hint of arrogance. Not arrogant nor impatient, very good. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Lin Tang smiled with satisfaction and praised Mo Qingyun again. Hall Master, the Earth Palace just sent a message saying that the Deputy Hall Master of the Earth Palace, Xin Jihong, wants to accept a personal disciple and invites you over. At this moment, while Lin Tang and the others were talking, an elder walked over and reported to Lin Tang. Xin Jihong wants to accept a personal disciple too. I wonder which brat will be so lucky? Hearing the elder's words, Lin Tang said in surprise. He turned to look at Mo Qingyun and said, "Qingyun, follow me to the Earth Palace." Hearing Lin Tang's words, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and replied, "Master, I still have some matters to attend to. I'll meet you at the Earth Palace later." "All right." Hearing Mo Qingyun's reply, Lin Tang nodded and did not force Mo Qingyun. He smiled faintly and said, "In that case, I'll wait for you at the Earth Palace. Once you're done with your matters, go over immediately." "Yes." Mo Qingyun replied and immediately returned to the Wind Palace to look for Long Hanyan. "Big brother, with this brat's performance, I'm afraid the great Yen Empire won't be able to stop him." Looking at Mo Qingyun who was gradually walking away, Lin Shi sighed emotionally and sighed. A man's ambition is to travel far and wide. How can he be bound to one place? Hearing Lin Shi's words, Lin Tang revealed a heroic expression and said in a deep voice, "An eagle will always fly to the sky. I'm looking forward to how far this brat can fly." "Alright, let's go to the Earth Palace and see how the disciple that old brat Xin Jihong is doing." After sighing emotionally, Lin Tang instructed the few people beside him and got up to head to the Earth Palace. While Lin Tang and the others were heading to the Earth Palace, Missouri Qingyun arrived at the Wind Palace's Earth Class. After arriving at the Wind Palace's Earth Class, Mo Qingyun began to search for Long Hanyan's figure. Han is actually not in the class. Could it be that she went out with senior sister Wuyo? Seeing that Long Hanyan was not in the Earth Class, Emo Qingyun frowned and guessed where Long Hanyan might have gone. Senior brother, why isn't Hanyan in the class? Immediately, Emo Qingyun called out to a student and asked about Long Hanyan's situation. Because Emo Qingyun had an intense battle with Ling Yang the last time he came, everyone was familiar with Emo Qingyun. This time, when the student recognized Emo Qingyun, he revealed a look of reverence and said respectfully, "Junior brother, Princess Wuyo came once just now. Junior sister Han Yen left with her. I think she said she was going to some Tianyan manor." Tianyan manor. Hearing this disciple's words, Emo Qingyun's expression changed and he thanked him. "Thank you, senior brother." After thanking him, Emo Qingyun directly left Dian province and returned to the Tianyan manor. Tianyan Manor's side residence. At this moment, apart from Yi Wuyo and Long Hanyan, Long Yutian and the others were also gathered here. This is really troublesome. The Earth Palace's Vice Palace Master, Shen Jihong, has decided to take Lu Yanjun as his personal disciple today. Yi Wuyo's expression was grave as he revealed an anxious expression and spoke worriedly. Once Lu Yanjun becomes the Earth Palace's Vice Palace Master's disciple, he'll probably become even more arrogant in the future. Long Yutian revealed a solemn expression and said with a worried tone, "Also, I'm very worried. If Qin Yun comes out from Guanfen Cliff and learns about Ruoshui's matter, what will he do if he seeks revenge from Lu Yanjun? The current Lu Yanjun is not someone he can face. With Lu Yanjun's current strength, he can definitely fight against an advanced Yuan Dan realm cultivator. He's not someone Qin Yun can face." Hearing Long Yutian's words, Lu Fengliang immediately frowned and said with a worried expression, "We can't let Qin Yun know that Ruoshui was seriously injured by Lu Yanjun. This is to prevent Qin Yun from seeking revenge from Lu Yanjun." Everyone's here. At this moment, while everyone was talking, a faint voice came from outside the residence. Soon after, the crowd saw a familiar figure walking towards them. As soon as they saw this figure, everyone's expression immediately changed, and their expressions became somewhat nervous. Emo Qingyun was back. "Qin Yun, you're back." After being stunned for a short while, everyone smiled awkwardly and greeted Emo Qingyun. Hearing everyone's greetings, Emo Qingyun responded with a faint smile. Chapter 365. Where was Ruoshui? Yi Wuyo and the others froze when they heard Emo Qingyun ask about Ruoshui. Their expressions became somewhat unnatural. Ruoshui, Yi Wuyo's eyes flickered. He avoided Emo Qingyun's gaze and stuttered. Long Yutian chuckled when he saw Yi Wuyo's expression. He replied, "Qin Yun, it's like this. Ruoshui has been accepted as a direct disciple by the vice leader of the Ice Hall. Right now, she's cultivating in seclusion in the Ice Hall. That's why she didn't come." Right. Ruoshui is cultivating in seclusion right now. That's why she didn't come. Yi Wuyo and the others smiled awkwardly and immediately agreed with Long Yutian's words. However, at that moment, a trace of grief and anger could clearly be seen in the expressions of Yi Wuyo and the others. With Emo Qingyun's eyesight, Yi Wuyo and the others' expressions naturally could not be hidden from him. "Brother Lu, tell me what's going on." Emo Qingyun's expression was cold when he saw everyone's expressions. He looked at Lu Fengliang and said, "I want to hear the truth. I hope you won't lie to me as well." Lu Fengliang's expression became troubled when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He furrowed his brows tightly. He knew very well that Emo Qingyun was asking him mainly because he was an upright person. He was not good with words and would not fabricate false information. "Forget it. Let me tell you." Long Yutian sighed when he saw Lu Fengliang's troubled expression. He replied, "Qin Yun, it's like this. After Lu Yanjun came out of seclusion a few days ago, he learned that you crippled Lu Yangsong. He took his anger out on Ruoshui, Lu Yanjun, Emo Qingyun's expression immediately darkened when he heard Long Yutian's words. A chilling aura radiated from him. Qingyun, you must stay calm. Seeing Emo Qingyun's expression, Long Yutian's expression immediately changed. He advised, Lu Yanjun's strength has increased greatly after coming out of seclusion. Even He Jiyu, who is ranked 8th on the Earth leaderboard, was defeated by him. Don't be rash and seek revenge on him. Brother Emo, let's discuss this matter at length. After hearing Long Yutian's words, Lu Fengliang and the others looked at Emo Qingyun and tried to persuade him. Don't try to persuade me. I've already made my decision. At this moment, before Lu Fengliang and the others could finish, Emo Qingyun raised his hand and interrupted them. He said coldly, Brother Lu, tell me, where is Lu Yanjun right now? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Lu Fengliang was silent for a moment before he said in a deep voice, Lu Yanjun should be in the Earth Hall right now, waiting for the Earth Hall's Deputy Hall Master to take him as his personal disciple. The Earth Hall's Deputy Hall Master wants to take Lu Yanjun as his personal disciple? Hearing Lu Fengliang's words, Emo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He revealed a surprised expression and sneered. So the Earth Hall's Deputy Hall Master, Shun Jihong, wants to take Lu Yanjun as his personal disciple. Let's go to the Earth Hall, Emo Qingyun said coldly. He no longer hesitated and directly walked out of the Tianyan mansion. When Emo Qingyun left the Tianyan mansion, he called Qi Lian to go with him. It would be more convenient with Qi Lian around. Let's follow him. Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Long Yutian said to the others and quickly followed. After a short while, Emo Qingyun and the others arrived at the Earth Hall, the main hall where Lu Yanjun would take his master. Emo Qingyun walked into the main hall and quickly saw Lin Tang and the others in the crowd. He walked towards them. When Emo Qingyun walked towards Lin Tang, Lu Fengliang and the others also walked towards their respective subhalls and stopped beside their respective hall masters and elders. Qingyun, you're here. Take a seat here. Seeing Emo Qingyun's arrival, Lin Tang revealed a faint smile and pointed at the seat beside him. Seeing Lin Tang's action, Emo Qingyun nodded in response and sat down beside Lin Tang. Qingyun, you missed the apprenticeship ceremony earlier. Let me introduce you. This is Hall Master Shun's disciple, Lu Yanjun. Seeing Emo Qingyun sitting beside him, Lin Tang revealed a faint smile and pointed at a young man not far away. He's Lu Yanjun. Hearing Lin Tang's introduction, Emo Qingyun's face immediately turned gloomy. Intense killing intent flashed in his eyes. At this moment, just as Emo Qingyun was sizing up Lu Yanjun, a young man beside Lu Yanjun pointed at Emo Qingyun and introduced him to Lu Yanjun. Brother Lu, that guy is Emo Qingyun, the one who crippled your younger brother. So it's you who crippled my second brother. Hearing Ling Yang's identification, Lu Yanjun's face immediately turned gloomy and he began sizing up Emo Qingyun. Immediately, Lu Yanjun stood up and walked to the center of the main hall. He looked at Emo Qingyun and said coldly, Emo Qingyun, you're finally willing to show yourself. I thought you would be a coward for the rest of your life. Yanjun, don't be rude. Hearing Lu Yanjun's words, Shin Jihong's face darkened and he reprimanded Lu Yanjun. However, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Shin Jihong did not have any intention of blaming Lu Yanjun. Hearing Shin Jihong's words, Lu Yanjun sneered, Master, I heard that junior brother Mo's talent is astonishing and he is the direct disciple of the Wind Hall Master. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to spar with him. When Lu Yanjun said this, his face was filled with a sinister smile and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Seeing Lu Yanjun's current performance, the expressions of Yi Wuyo and the rest instantly turned solemn. They were worried that Emo Qingyun would accept Lu Yanjun's challenge. Hearing Lu Yanjun's words, Shun Jihong was stunned. Then, he smiled faintly and looked at Lin Tang. Hall Master Lin Tang, what do you think? Hearing Shin Jihong's words, Lin Tang revealed a difficult expression. Letting Mo Qingyun fight with Lu Yanjun was too unfair to Mo Qingyun. Soon after, Lin Tang looked at Mo Qingyun and asked for Mo Qingyun's opinion. "Qingyun, what do you think?" Hearing Lin Tang's words, Mo Qingyun sneered and slowly stood up. Mo Qingyun did not expect that before he could find trouble with Lu Yanjun would come looking for him first. Sparring is meaningless. If you want to fight, then let's fight to the death. The winner lives and the loser dies. After Mo Qingyun stood up, he revealed a cold and arrogant expression. Looking at Lu Yanjun, he said coldly, "Lu Yanjun, do you dare to fight? Fight to the death." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the great hall fell silent. Everyone stared at Mo Qingyun with their eyes wide open. It had to be said that Mo Qingyun's current actions were too surprising. A person with a cultivation at the second level of Yuan Dan stage actually dared to propose a fight to the death against a person with a cultivation at the peak of the sixth level of Yuan Dan stage. This kind of action was no different from seeking death. After a short moment of shock, everyone's faces were filled with anticipation. They turned to look at Lu Yanjun, waiting for his response. How would Lu Yanjun respond to Mo Qingyun's action? At this moment, while everyone was waiting for Lu Yanjun's response, a middle-aged woman in the great hall said to Mo Qingyun, "Mo Qingyun, I am Ruoshui's master. Ruoshui is injured now, so don't make any more unnecessary fights and affect the harmony between the halls of the Hidden Dragon Institute." Vice Hall Master Yun's words were actually to give Mo Qingyun a way out of this embarrassing situation. She wanted to prevent Lu Yanjun from being at a disadvantage due to his impulsiveness. After all, Mo Qingyun was only at the second level of Yuan Dan stage. Facing Lu Yanjun's cultivation at the peak of the sixth level of Yuan Dan stage, he was at a disadvantage. However, what surprised everyone was that after Mo Qingyun heard Vice Hall Master Yun's words, his face immediately darkened. "Shut up." Hearing Vice Hall Master Yun's words, Mo Qingyun scolded her and said coldly, "As a Heaven Star Border Realm expert, you don't even have the courage to take revenge when your personal disciple was seriously injured. You don't have the right to speak here, and you don't deserve to be Ruoshui's master." Mo Qingyun was scolding a Heaven Star Border Realm expert. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, everyone in the Great Hall was shocked again. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions. A person at the second level of Yuan Dan stage dared to scold a Heaven Star Border Realm expert. This action was too crazy. Presumptuous. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Ice Palace elders' faces immediately darkened. They scolded Mo Qingyun and released their auras to suppress Mo Qingyun. "You are the presumptuous ones." Seeing the Ice Palace elders' actions, Lin Tang, Bian Lingbao, and the others' faces darkened and they said unhappily. Then, Lin Tang and the others released their auras and charged toward the elders of the Ice Temple. Bang bang bang. Under Lin Tang and the others' auras, the Ice Palace elders were immediately forced to retreat. Their blood was boiling, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of their mouth. Seeing Lin Tang and the others' actions, the Ice Palace elders were furious and looked at Lin Tang and the others angrily. "I'm presumptuous?" At this moment, when the elders of the Ice Temple were furious, Mo Qingyun showed a look of disdain. He looked at them and said coldly, "You guys are so impressive now. I only said a few words to her, and you want to attack me. When Lu Yanjun seriously injured Ruoshui, where did your prestige go?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Ice Palace elders were speechless. They didn't know how to respond to Mo Qingyun. They were indeed in the wrong. "Mo Qingyun, I know that Ruoshui is your good friend. I apologize for her injury." While the Ice Palace elders were silent, Yun Xia looked apologetic and apologized to Mo Qingyun. She said guiltily, "When I return to the Ice Palace, I will resign from my position as Deputy Palace Master and will no longer interfere with the Ice Palace's matters. Palace Master Shen, we will take our leave now." Red Cloud's palace master said goodbye to Shinjihong and said to the people behind her, "Let's return to the Ice Palace." Then, the Ice Palace elders didn't stay any longer. They stood up and left the hall. After the Ice Palace elders left, the people in the hall came back to their senses and looked at Emo Qinyun in shock. This was especially true for one of the younger generation, who looked at Emo Qinyun with adoration in his eyes. Emo Qinyun, with his cultivation at level 2 Yuan Dan realm, not only did he scold a Heaven Star realm expert, he even made the other party apologize. This kind of ability wasn't something an ordinary person could have. Lu Yanjun, weren't you arrogant just now? Didn't you want to challenge me? Why is there not even a fart now? While everyone was still in shock, Emo Qinyun looked at Lu Yanjun coldly and mocked. Are the people of the Lu family afraid of death? Do you only know how to bully people with lower cultivation just because your cultivation is higher? Chapter 366. This is troublesome. Qin Yun is going to have a life and death battle with Lu Yanjun. Hearing Lu Yanjun's response, Long Yutian and the others immediately looked worried. The thing they were most worried about seemed to have happened. Could Emo Qinyun fight with Lu Yanjun? At this moment, not only did Long Yutian and the others look worried, but Lin Tang and the others also looked worried when they saw this scene. They really did not expect that the situation would turn out like this. Qin Yun, a life and death battle is not a joke. Don't be impulsive. Immediately, Lin Tang revealed a solemn expression and said in a serious tone, "If you go back on your word now, I will throw away my face this time and use the excuse that I'm worried about my beloved disciple's injury to stop your battle with Lu Yanjun." Qin Yun, your master is right. Don't be impulsive. Lin Shi also looked nervous and persuaded Emo Qinyun. She said in a deep voice, "With your talent, it won't be difficult to surpass Lu Yanjun. There will definitely be a chance for revenge in the future." "Master, Elder Lin Shi, you don't have to persuade me. I've already made up my mind." Hearing Lin Tang and Lin Shi's words, Emo Qinyun replied in a firm tone. He said in a deep voice, "I, Emo Qinyun, will not wait for a night to kill for revenge." Hearing Emo Qinyun's firm words, Lin Tang, Lin Shi, and the others were stunned. They were shocked by Emo Qinyun's determination. Then, Lin Tang and the others stopped persuading him. They knew that with Emo Qinyun's character, it would be useless even if they tried to persuade him. In that case, go ahead and fight. With me here, no one can stop you from fighting. After a short silence, Lin Tang revealed a serious expression and said to Emo Qinyun, "Thank you, master." Emo Qinyun looked grateful and nodded to Lin Tang. At this moment, while Lin Tang and Emo Qinyun were talking, Lu Yanjun revealed a smug sneer and looked at Emo Qinyun mockingly. He said coldly, "Emo Qinyun, I was originally worried that there would be some trouble if I killed you. Now that you've proposed a life and death battle, it can save me some worries. Cut the crap. Pick the place." Hearing Lu Yanjun's words, Emo Qinyun revealed an impatient expression and urged in a cold tone, "All right, I'll wait for you at the Earth Hall's practice field." Hearing Mo's words, Lu Yanjun's expression indifferent, Emo Qinyun's reply, "Brother Lu, please wait. To avoid any accidents. And to prevent any accidents to prevent. You sign a life and death contract." Ling Yang's words caused everyone's expression to change drastically. They were shocked by Ling Yang's words. Once the life and death contract was signed, no one could change it. Ling Yang's suggestion was too vicious. "Lin Yang, you talk too much." Hearing Ling Yang's words, Lin Tang's expression darkened. He released an aura to suppress Ling Yang. Previously, Lin Tang heard from others that Ling Yang and Emo Qinyun fought in the Earth-class battle. He was already extremely dissatisfied with Ling Yang. Now that Ling Yang actually schemed against Emo Qinyun, this action had already exceeded Lin Tang's tolerance limit. Pooh! Under the suppression of Lin Tang's aura, Ling Yang's face immediately turned red and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Ling Yang's expression became even more malevolent under the suppression of Lin Tang's aura. He looked at Lu Yanjun and sneered, "Brother Lu, you should be able to tell. With Lin Tang's importance to Mo Qingyun, do you think you can have a fair fight with Mo Qingyun without the restriction of the life and death contract?" Ling Yang Yu, hearing Ling Yang's words, Lin Tang's expression instantly turned cold. He angrily said, "I declare that from today onwards, Ling Yang is expelled from the Wind Hall." Expelled Ling Yang from the Wind Hall. Hearing Lin Tang's words, everyone's expression changed. They were shocked by Lin Tang's actions. "Brother Lu, now you see clearly. I was expelled from the Wind Hall just because I made a suggestion." Hearing Lin Tang's words, the sneer on Ling Yang's face immediately deepened. He smiled disdainfully and said, "Lin Tang, you're so biased. Be careful not to disappoint the other disciples of the Wind Hall." "How dare you?" Hearing Ling Yang's words, Lin Shi's expression suddenly froze and she reprimanded him. "Elder Lin Shi Yaoer is no longer a disciple of the Wind Hall. You have no right to reprimand the younger generation of my Ling family." When Lin Shi's words fell, a Heavenly Dipper realm elder of the Ling family responded with a sneer. "You," hearing the other party's words, Lin Shi was furious, but she couldn't refute. "Elder Lin Shi, there's no need to argue with them. It's just a life and death contract. I was worried that they would play tricks." Seeing Lin Shi's expression, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He turned to look at Lu Yanjun and the others and said, "No need to talk nonsense. Bring the life and death contract over." Immediately after, Mo Qingyun signed the life and death contract with Lu Yanjun and got up to head to the Earth Hall's martial arts practice field. When Mo Qingyun and Lu Yanjun headed to the Earth Hall's martial arts practice field, everyone followed them to watch the battle between Mo Qingyun and Lu Yanjun. A moment later, in the center of the Earth Hall's martial arts practice field. "Mo Qingyun, I admire your courage. You actually dared to write in the life and death contract that you won't use any spiritual or magical weapons in the battle." Looking at Mo Qingyun, who was confronting him, Lu Yanjun revealed a sinister smile and let out a complacent laugh. Looking at his current appearance, it seemed like he had succeeded in some evil scheme. "I don't need to use any spiritual or magical weapons to deal with you." Mo Qingyun responded to Lu Yanjun's words with disdain and attacked Lu Yanjun. "Bird of prey break." Mo Qingyun's body moved and turned into a stream of light, continuing to attack Lu Yanjun with extreme speed. Under Mo Qingyun's actions, a storm of wind blades immediately formed around his body and engulfed Lu Yanjun in an instant. "Mo Qingyun, you're too arrogant. You actually dare to fight in close combat with someone from the Earth Hall." Facing Mo Qingyun's attack, Lu Yanjun revealed a cold smile and said complacently. Then, Lu Yanjun released the Earth Profound Meaning and used gravity to suppress Mo Qingyun, affecting Mo Qingyun's movement. As Lu Yanjun released the Level 5 Earth Profound Meaning, a terrifying pressure descended on Mo Qingyun, causing Mo Qingyun's speed to decrease. Not good. Under the suppression of Lu Yanjun's Earth Profound Meaning, Qingyun will be at a disadvantage in close combat. Seeing Lu Yanjun's attack, the expressions of Lin Tang and the others immediately changed. The worry on their faces deepened. The gravity was lifted. While everyone was worried, Mo Qingyun also released the Earth Profound Meaning to relieve Lu Yanjun's gravity suppression. As soon as the Level 2 Earth Profound Meaning was released, the pressure on Mo Qingyun's body was immediately reduced, and his movements became much lighter. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were shocked. Mo Qingyun had actually comprehended the Earth Profound Meaning. More importantly, Mo Qingyun's comprehension of the Earth Profound Meaning had reached Level 2. In this way, the power of Lu Yanjun's Profound Meaning would be greatly weakened. Level 2 Earth Profound Meaning. This kid still has this hidden move. Just how many profound meanings has he comprehended? Seeing Mo Qingyun's current performance, Lin Tang immediately stood up from his seat and laughed with a pleasantly surprised expression. Mo Qingyun had once again given him a pleasant surprise. Sun incinerating mountain splitting blade. As he approached Lu Yanjun, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and directly slashed at Lu Yanjun with his palm. Immediately, a 30-meter-long flaming saber ray, which carried a shocking fire-profound meaning, crushed toward Lu Yanjun. At this moment, wherever the saber ray passed, a sea of flames appeared, as if it was going to burn the earth. Mo Qingyun is only at level 2 Yuan Dan stage, but the strength of his origin energy is actually comparable to a level 3 Yuan Dan stage expert. How is this possible? Feeling the fluctuation of origin energy on the flaming saber ray, Lu Yanjun's expression instantly changed. He was extremely shocked by this scene. Landslide and earth rend. After a brief moment of shock, Lu Yanjun did not dare to hesitate and immediately counterattacked. With a punch, the earth quaked and the mountains shook. Bursts of rock-like fist radiance erupted and blocked the flaming saber ray. Bang bang bang! The flaming saber ray collided with the rock-like fist radiance and instantly exploded the rock-like fist radiance. However, when the rock-like fist radiance exploded, the power of the flaming saber ray weakened and the flames dimmed. Bang! Looking at the flaming saber ray that continued to attack him, Lu Yanjun did not hesitate and punched out again to disperse the flaming saber ray. After dispersing the flaming saber ray with a punch, Lu Yanjun sneered and said coldly, "Mo Qingyun, although your strength has surprised me, you will definitely die today. Is that so?" Hearing Lu Yanjun's words, Mo Qingyun replied indifferently and directly summoned his scarlet heavenly dragon martial soul. Soul change. Blood Chi rampage. After summoning his scarlet heavenly dragon martial soul, Mo Qingyun immediately performed the soul change and displayed his martial soul superpower. Then, a 30-meter-long crimson dragon appeared in front of everyone, exuding a terrifying dragon aura. At the same time, the aura on Mo Qingyun's body rose along with it, and it attained the 4th level of the origin core stage. Sun incinerating mountain splitting saber. After increasing his cultivation level, Mo Qingyun raised his huge dragon claw and punched out at Lu Yanjun. Then, a flaming saber ray that was even more terrifying than the previous one slashed toward Lu Yanjun. As soon as the flaming saber ray appeared, it was like a whirlwind that swept away the clouds and brought about a flaming storm. So powerful! How is this possible? How can a level 2 Yuan Dan stage person have such strength? Seeing Mo Qingyun's attack, Lu Yanjun's expression changed. He was shocked by Mo Qingyun's strength. Then, without hesitation, Lu Yanjun completed the soul change in an instant and turned into a huge golden pangolin. After completing the soul change, Lu Yanjun immediately prepared to burrow into the ground to avoid Mo Qingyun's attack. He knew clearly that he could not withstand Mo Qingyun's attack. You want to avoid it? Can you? Seeing Lu Yanjun's action, Mo Qingyun released level 7 Wind Ultimacy and added it to the flaming saber ray. Wind Ultimacy. With the addition of Wind Ultimacy, the speed of the flaming saber ray increased to the maximum and instantly hit Lu Yanjun's body. Bang! As soon as the flaming saber ray hit Lu Yanjun, he was immediately sent flying and instantly exited the soul change state. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate. He moved toward Lu Yanjun and decisively punched out. Stop! Chapter 367. As soon as the elder finished his words, he moved to stop Mo Qingyun. Lu Changui, are you saying that you don't exist? Seeing the actions of the Lu family's elder, Lin Tang's face darkened as he spoke coldly. Then, Lin Tang's body moved. He raised his hand and threw a punch at Lu Changui, emitting a terrifying aura. Lin Tang cultivated the power of wind, and his speed was much faster than Lu Changui. Before Lu Changui could react, His palm had already landed on his body. Bang! Lu Chonggui was sent flying by Lin Tang's palm. He landed heavily on the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. A half-step Heaven Star border expert from the Lu family was crippled by Lin Tang in one move. Everyone was shocked when they saw Lin Tang's decisive action. They looked at Lin Tang with respect. While everyone was still in shock, a second Heavenly Dipper Realm Elder from the Lin clan sneered, "Mo Qingyun, if revenge breeds revenge, will there ever be an end to it? Why don't you give this old man some face and let this matter pass?" As soon as the elder of the Lin clan finished speaking, he raised his hand and blasted out a palm towards Lu Yanjun, intending to protect him. His action was very smart. He didn't attack Mo Qingyun. Hence, Lin Tang couldn't stop him. Mo Qingyun's face darkened when he saw the Ling family elder's action. He said coldly, "Today, no one can save Lu Yanjun." Sword light from eyes. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished his words, a flaming sword light shot out from his right eye. As soon as the flaming blade radiance shot out, it reached Lu Yanjun's throat in an instant. Lu Yanjun's head was directly severed under the attack of the eye light saber ray. Lu Yanjun, dead. After seeing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. They almost couldn't believe their eyes. The Ling family's Heaven Star Border's second stage elder didn't manage to save Lu Yanjun from Mo Qingyun's hands. This scene happened too quickly, to the extent that for a moment, no one had recovered from their shock. After a short moment of silence, the crowd burst into an uproar. Lu Yanjun is dead? Furthermore, he was killed by Mo Qingyun under the hands of a Ling family elder? This brat is so tyrannical. He really doesn't give in to anyone. However, that gaze of his earlier was so terrifying. I really didn't expect this brat to have such skills. It seems that we've underestimated him. Lin Tang has taken in a good disciple. It's really enviable. For a moment, everyone sighed and looked at Lin Tang with envy. Seeing that Mo Qingyun still managed to kill Lu Yanjun even after he made his move, the expression of this Heavenly Dipper second stage elder from the Ling family instantly turned gloomy. He coldly said, "Mo Qingyun, as the saying goes, where it is possible to spare people, one should spare them. Aren't you going overboard by doing this? Too much." Hearing the words of this Ling family elder, Mo Qingyun looked at him with disdain and said coldly, "Old thing, Lu Yanjun took his anger out on Ruoshui and injured her because of his hatred for me. Why aren't you reprimanding him? Brat, are you accusing me of being biased?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Ling family elder's face turned gloomy. He released his aura towards Mo Qingyun. Seeing that the Ling family elder released his aura towards Mo Qingyun, Lin Tang moved his body and stood in front of Mo Qingyun, blocking the Ling family elder's aura. Shortly after, Lin Tang released his aura towards Ling Yang and the others from the Ling family. He coldly said, "Ling Wanhai, do you think that I don't dare to make a move on your Ling family's younger generation?" Glare blade light. At this moment, when Lin Tang released his aura towards Ling Yang and the others, Mo Qingyun's right eye flashed red and released a glare blade light towards Ling Yang. This Ling Yang had schemed against him time and time again. Mo Qingyun was determined to kill him, and this was the perfect time to start with him. Poochie! The glare blade light flashed and instantly blasted onto Ling Yang's neck, directly killing Ling Yang. Receiving Mo Qingyun's attack, Ling Yang's eyes widened. He couldn't believe this scene was real. Mo Qingyun actually attacked him and killed him without any warning. Brat, you've gone too far. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Ling Wanhai and the others immediately became furious and attacked Mo Qingyun one after another. They didn't expect that Mo Qingyun would dare to directly attack Ling Yang at this time. In addition, their attention was focused on Lin Tang just now, and Mo Qingyun actually took advantage of this loophole. Thinking that their family's younger generation was killed in front of them, Ling Wanhai and the others immediately felt their old faces burning, as if they had been slapped hard. This brat! Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Lin Tang and the others were also surprised. They didn't expect Mo Qingyun to do this. However, at the same time, Lin Tang and the others also protected Mo Qingyun behind them, not letting Ling Wanhai and the others attack him. When Lin Tang and the others protected Mo Qingyun behind them, Mo Qingyun revealed an expression of disdain, and he looked at Ling Wanhai and ridiculed, "Old bastard, didn't you say that where it's possible to spare others, one should spare them, and if revenge breeds revenge, will there ever be an end? Why are you attacking me?" As soon as Mo Qingyun's words came out, everyone's expression immediately became strange. They looked at Mo Qingyun with a wry smile. At this moment, they had to admit that Mo Qingyun's move was really ruthless. This was letting Ling Wanhai shoot himself in the foot. If Ling Wanhai and the others attacked Mo Qingyun, it was equivalent to slapping their own faces. Their words were like farts that didn't count. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Wanhai's face immediately turned red and his veins bulged. He was furious to the extreme, but he couldn't refute Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Ling Wanhai was speechless, Mo Qingyun once again smiled in disdain and mocked, "Old dogling, since you can't do it yourself, don't spout nonsense in the future. Today, I killed a junior of your Lung family to let you understand a principle. Don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Little bastard, you've gone too far." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Wanhai immediately went berserk and directly attacked Mo Qingyun. At this moment, the sky above the Earth Palace's martial arts field suddenly changed color and a human shadow appeared. As soon as this human shadow appeared, everyone in the field immediately revealed looks of reverence. This was the long-browed Grand Elder's shadow clone. The long-browed Grand Elder had actually appeared. The long-browed Grand Elder didn't pay attention to everyone's shock and directly raised his hand to attack Ling Wanhai and the others. Bang! Facing the long-browed Grand Elder's palm, Ling Wanhai and the others spat out mouthfuls of blood. They didn't have the slightest strength to resist. After injuring Ling Wanhai and the others with a single palm, the long-browed Grand Elder's face turned cold. He said coldly, "For Ling Qingfeng's sake, I won't kill you today. Fram. Let's go." Hearing the long-browed Grand Elder's words, Ling Wanhai and the others' faces were filled with resentment as they unwillingly got up and left. However, just as Ling Wanhai and the others left, the sky above the Earth Palace changed color again. Following that, an aura that was even more terrifying than the long-browed Grand Elders appeared from the stirring clouds. High-level Heaven's Star Border. Sensing the aura in the air, the long-browed Grand Elder's expression immediately changed as he exclaimed in shock. He thought to himself, could it be that Mo Qingyun's identity has been exposed and those fellows are here to kill him? High-level Heaven's Star Border. Everyone's expressions changed when they heard the long-browed Senior Elder's words. They were extremely shocked. They really didn't expect that an existence of this level would appear in Dian Province. At this moment, while everyone was still in shock, a terrifying hand appeared from the stirring clouds in the air. Mo Qingyun, now that I've broken through to the high-level Heaven Star Border, even if that body refinement expert is here, he won't be able to protect you. Prepare to die. The moment the hand appeared, it emitted a shocking aura as it pressed down on Mo Qingyun. This high-level Heaven Star Border expert is here to kill Mo Qingyun? After this discovery, everyone was shocked once again. They couldn't believe it. Mo Qingyun actually provoked a high-level Heaven Star Border expert. This was too shocking. Sir, you attacked someone from a low-level dynasty. Have you forgotten the rules of the province? Seeing the hand striking down on Mo Qingyun, the long-browed Grand Elder's shadow clone said unhappily and blocked it. But the moment the hand was blocked, the long-browed Grand Elder's shadow clone spat out a mouthful of blood and his body quickly collapsed. This was a fight on a completely different level. At this moment, when the long-browed Grand Elder was about to collapse, a golden book appeared in the air. As soon as the golden book appeared, It emitted an even more terrifying aura as it blasted towards the high-level Heaven Star Border expert's hand. Bang! In the face of the Golden Book's attack, the Heavenly Star Border expert's giant hand was instantly shattered. Old Man Tianshu, what's the meaning of this? Seeing that his attack had been defeated by the Golden Heavenly Book, a displeased voice immediately sounded from midair. Nothing. I just can't stand it. As an elder of the Mystic Ice Palace, you actually attacked a Yuan Dan Jr. Old Man Tianshu smiled faintly and replied indifferently. His tone was filled with disdain and ridicule. Emo Qingyun, you're lucky this time. I didn't expect Old Man Tianshu to help you. Hearing Old Man Tianshu's words, the high-level Heaven Star Border expert snorted and said coldly to Emo Qingyun, I don't believe that you have someone protecting you at all times. I'll definitely kill you the next time I attack. As soon as he finished speaking, the air around him returned to normal. It seemed like he had left. Little guy, take care. This old man is leaving too. Old Man Tianshu chuckled when he saw the other party leave. Then, the Golden Book also disappeared in the air. Farewell, Old Man Tianshu. Seeing Old Man Tianshu leave, the long-browed Grand Elder's shadow clone bowed and left as well. After the three experts left, everyone slowly regained their senses and looked at Emo Qingyun in disbelief. A Yuan Dan Realm Jr. was actually able to cause a mid-level Heavenly Dipper Realm and two high-level Heavenly Dipper Realm experts to make a move for him. This scene was simply too unbelievable to them. Kid, you actually offended an expert from the Mystic Ice Palace. After a short moment of shock, Ling Wanhai revealed a cold smile and looked at Emo Qingyun. He said coldly, with the status of this Mystic Ice Palace's elder, even if the long-browed Grand Elder protects you, it's useless. You have to die. Chapter 368. Old Dogling, don't worry. Even if your Ling family is annihilated, I won't die. In response to Ling Wanhai's words, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied nonchalantly. Brat, you seem to be overconfident. When Emo Qingyun finished speaking, a half-step Heaven Star Border elder from the Lu family sneered. Although you have the long-browed Doyen protecting you in Dian Province, it doesn't mean that your clansmen in the Tianyan Manor can also be protected. The half-step Heaven Star Border elder from the Lu family sneered and said, I advise you to spend more time with your clansmen in the Tianyan Manor when you have nothing to do. Don't wait until the day you return and find that they're all dead. You don't have to worry about that. Emo Qingyun replied disdainfully in response to the elder's words. With a mocking expression, he said, Old dog, I advise you to think more about your Lu family's younger generation if you have the time. Don't let them become the Ling family's dogs before they're even born. You, hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the elder from the Lu family was furious. He raised his finger and pointed at Emo Qingyun, but he couldn't say anything. Emo Qingyun's mouth was too venomous. He directly poked at the elder's weak spot, making him unable to refute. Shortly after, the elder from the Lu family snorted coldly and left with the rest of the Lu family. After a while, when everyone left, Lin Tang had a grave expression and asked Emo Qingyun, Qingyun, how did you offend that expert from the Mystic Ice Palace? Because of some family matters, I killed his daughter. Emo Qingyun didn't intend to hide the truth from Lin Tang and the others, so he directly answered them. He was very touched that Lin Tang and the others had helped him. If the Red Cloud Vice Palace Master could do the same, Lu Yanjun wouldn't be so arrogant. Killed his daughter? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Lin Tang and the others couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. They looked at Emo Qingyun in shock and were speechless for a long time. They had no choice but to admit that Emo Qingyun's answer had frightened them. Emo Qingyun was too daring. He even dared to kill the daughter of a Heaven Star Border Realm expert. This was too crazy. While he was shocked, Lin Tang also revealed a curious expression. He asked Emo Qingyun, Qingyun, just now, old man Tianshu helped you block the attack of the expert from the mystic ice palace. Could it be that you know him? I don't understand why he helped me. Emo Qingyun had a puzzled look on his face. He couldn't understand what had just happened. This old man of heavenly book seemed to have been paying attention to his whereabouts in the 100 countries battlefield. However, what made Emo Qingyun rejoice was that based on the previous situation, the old man of heavenly book should not have any malicious intent towards him. You don't know him? Hearing Emo Qingyun's answer, Lin Tang and the others smiled bitterly. They were surprised by this result. Emo Qingyun chatted with Lin Tang and the others for a while before parting ways with them. After parting ways with Lin Tang and the others, Emo Qingyun walked towards Yi Wuyo and the others. Senior Sister Wuyo, where is Ruoshui? Bring me to see her. Ruoshui is at my master's residence. I'll bring you there now. Wang Zishu replied to Emo Qingyun and brought Emo Qingyun to Elder Xian Ye's residence. After a while, they arrived at Elder Xian Ye's residence. The moment he arrived, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and directly entered Ruoshui's room. When Emo Qingyun entered Ruoshui's room, Elder Xian Ye was treating Ruoshui's injuries. Emo Qingyun, why have you come to the pill hall? Elder Xian Ye went to watch Emo Qingyun's performance in the grand examination. Hence, she wasn't unfamiliar with Emo Qingyun. Emo Qingyun greets Elder Xian Ye. Emo Qingyun bowed to Elder Xian Ye and replied with respect, I'm here to take a look at Ruoshui's injuries. I see. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Elder Xian Ye faintly smiled and revealed an expression of understanding. Emo Qingyun and Ruoshui were good friends. Now that he knew Ruoshui was injured, it was natural for him to come and take a look. Emo Qingyun walked to Ruoshui's side and held her hand. He released his soul power to sense Ruoshui's condition. Soul power at the late stage of the spirit origin realm. This brat's soul power is so strong. When Emo Qingyun released his soul power, Elder Xian Ye was shocked. She was surprised at Emo Qingyun's soul power. With her Heaven Dipper Stage 1 cultivation and her soul power was only at the early stage of the Heaven Spirit realm. Emo Qingyun's soul power was so strong at such a young age. It was too surprising. What is this brat trying to do? After a short moment of shock, Elder Xian Ye was curious about Emo Qingyun's actions. However, she didn't interrupt Emo Qingyun. The palm energy that injured Ruoshui, I seem to be familiar with it. Emo Qingyun's brows furrowed tightly as he sensed the situation, and he exclaimed in surprise. After discovering it, Emo Qingyun put down Ruoshui's hand and walked to Elder Xian Ye. He said, Elder Xian Ye, please take a look at Ruoshui's injury. Then, Emo Qingyun told Elder Xian Ye about his request. After that, Emo Qingyun left the room with Long Yutian and the other men, leaving Elder Xian Ye and the other ladies in the room. After a while, Elder Xian Ye opened the door and walked out with a heavy expression. Ruoshui's injury is as you said. Your deduction should be correct. After walking out of the room, Elder Xian Ye said in a heavy tone, I didn't expect that my eyesight wasn't as good as yours. It's unbelievable. Elder Xian Ye, it's not strange that you didn't notice it because you haven't seen anyone use the heaven-destroying demon palm. Hearing Elder Xian Ye's words, Emo Qingyun replied with a faint smile. He then said, the person who knows the heaven-destroying demon palm must be a direct descendant of the Ling family. If that's the case, the culprit who used the poisonous palm to injure Ruoshui should be someone from the Ling family. If that's the case, then Lu Yanjun is just a scapegoat and the real culprit is still hiding in the background? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Lu Fengliang's expression changed, and he said coldly, it's possible. Emo Qingyun's expression was cold. He nodded and asked Yi Wuyo and the others, Senior Sister Wuyo, has anyone from the Ling family been in contact with Lu Yanjun recently? Upon hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Yi Wuyo and the others revealed contemplative expressions and began to ponder. After a while, Yi Wuyo's eyes lit up and she said in surprise, "That's right, Ling Yang and Lu Yanjun were very close a while ago. Moreover, it was at the entrance of the academy again?" Yi Wuyo briefly described the arrogant actions of Ling Yang and Lu Yanjun at the entrance of the academy. Ling Yang? He's also a direct descendant of the Ling family, and his understanding of the heaven-destroying demon palm is even more thorough than Ling Chang's. Hearing Yi Wuyo's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed and he revealed a look of realization. He said, "Moreover, he was very close to Lu Yanjun a while ago. If that's the case, then the person who injured Ruoshui should be him." Thinking that the culprit behind the scenes was most likely Ling Yang, everyone's expression became strange. If that's the case, then Mo Qingyun didn't kill the wrong person previously? In other words, Mo Qingyun killing Ling Yang was a lucky hit. If Ling Yang is the culprit behind the scenes, then Qingyun, didn't you hit the right person this time? After being stunned for a short while, Long Yutian revealed a helpless smile and said to Mo Qingyun, I guess so." Hearing Long Yutian's words, Mo Qingyun chuckled and his mood became better. If that's the case, then the culprit behind the scenes wasn't allowed to get away scot-free. Then, everyone had a simple discussion. Mo Qingyun looked at Elder Xianyi and said, "Elder Xianyi, looking at Ruoshui's current situation, I'm afraid that the ice-dew golden pill is needed to save her. I wonder if you have the materials to refine the pill in the pill hall?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xian Ye's expression changed drastically. She looked at Mo Qingyun in shock and said, "Did Zishu and the others tell you the method to save Ruoshui, or did you come up with it yourself after diagnosing Ruoshui's injuries? If it was Mo Qingyun who came up with it himself, then Mo Qingyun's performance was too shocking. One should know that the ice-dew golden pill was a mid-grade pill. With Mo Qingyun's age, it wasn't easy for him to know the effects of a mid-grade pill. "Master, we didn't tell Qingyun about it." Hearing Elder Xian Ye's words, Wang Zishu replied and said, "Also, I told you before that my pill refining methods were taught by Qingyun. These are all true." Doesn't that mean, hearing Wang Zishu's words, Elder Xian Ye's expression changed drastically. She looked at Mo Qingyun in shock and said, "Qingyun, your current alchemist rank is?" Hearing Elder Xian Ye's words, Mo Qingyun pondered for a while and replied, "I'm not sure about the exact rank. However, there shouldn't be any problem refining medicinal pills below the mid-grade pill. There shouldn't be any problem refining medicinal pills below the mid-grade pill." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Elder Xian Yi was instantly dumbfounded. She was truly shocked in her heart. Didn't that mean that Mo Qingyun's alchemist rank had already reached the level of a quasi-elixir king? A young man who wasn't even 20 years old became a quasi-elixir king under the circumstances of no one teaching him. How heaven-defying of talent did this require? If such news were to spread, it would probably scare people to the point of vomiting blood. This kind of talent was truly too monstrous. Thinking of Mo Qingyun's talent in other aspects, Elder Xian Yi was instantly speechless. She looked at Mo Qingyun and said with a bitter smile, You're really a freak." After letting out a gloomy remark, Elder Xian Yi sorted out her emotions and said, "The pill hall has the other ingredients to refine the icy purity jade water golden pill. I can provide them. However, the pill hall doesn't have the most important ingredient, the 1,000-year ice lotus. So, you need to think of a way yourself." 1,000-year ice lotus. Hearing Xian Ye's words, Mo Qingyun frowned and said in a deep voice, "Even in the region, the 1,000-year ice lotus can only be found in the Mystic Ice Palace." Thinking of going to the Mystic Ice Palace and finding a way to obtain the 1,000-year ice lotus, Mo Qingyun's heart instantly became heavy. Chapter 369. Elder Xianyi, I'll think of a way to get the 1,000-year ice lotus. I'll have to trouble you to take care of Ruoshui for me. After a short moment of silence, Emo Qingyun put on a pleading expression and clasped his hands at Xianyi. Ruoshui is with me. You don't have to worry. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Xianyi replied and joked with Emo Qingyun, if you have time in the future, you can come to the pill hall more often. With your talent in alchemy, it would be a waste if you don't study alchemy. Hearing Xianyi's words, Emo Qingyun let out a bitter smile. He didn't know how to respond. In his previous life, he was the youngest pill venerate in the Heavenly Soul continent. He didn't need to learn alchemy from scratch. If he came to the pill hall to learn alchemy, it would be a waste of time. However, since Xianyi had good intentions, he naturally couldn't reject her. He smiled faintly. Haha, if I have time in the future, I'll come to the pill hall more often. After that, Emo Qingyun chatted with Xianyi for a while and prepared to return to the Tianyan Manor. Seeing that Emo Qingyun was preparing to return to the Tianyan Manor, Long Yutian and the others didn't stay any longer and returned to their own halls. After everyone left one after another, it wasn't long before only Long Hanyan and Emo Qingyun remained, and the atmosphere immediately became slightly awkward. Are you going back to the Long Manor? I'll send you back. Seeing that the atmosphere was a little awkward, Emo Qingyun spoke first and broke the awkward atmosphere. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan blushed and nodded in response. After that, Emo Qingyun sent Long Hanyan back to the Long Manor. On the way back, Long Hanyan was silent, causing the atmosphere to become awkward again. After that, Emo Qingyun and Long Hanyan arrived outside the Long Manor. Outside the Long Manor, the silent Long Hanyan suddenly looked at Emo Qingyun with anticipation and asked, Qingyun, if I encounter danger one day, will you do anything for me? Would you do anything for me? Hearing Long Hanyan's words, Emo Qingyun was shocked. He was surprised by Long Hanyan's words. After a brief moment of surprise, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied to Long Hanyan, silly girl, why would you say something like that? Nothing will ever happen to you. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan revealed a hint of disappointment. She continued, I'm saying if one day I meet with any mishap, will you do the same for me as you did for Ruoshui? Will you do anything for me? Of course. Hearing Long Hanyan say this again, Emo Qingyun revealed a serious expression and said in a deep voice, if such a day really comes, no matter who the other party is, I will not let them go. Even if the heavens want to take you away, I will pierce through them and snatch you back from them. When he said that, Emo Qingyun gave off a heroic aura. It was as if he wanted to compete with the heavens. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan immediately revealed a sweet smile and said gently to Emo Qingyun, give me your hand. All right. Hearing Long Hanyan's words, Emo Qingyun did not think too much and extended his hand to Long Hanyan. Following that, Long Hanyan slowly wrote in Emo Qingyun's hand. After writing in Emo Qingyun's hand, Long Hanyan directly ran into the Long estate with a sweet smile on her face. What you said just now, I will always remember it in my heart. Thinking back to the words Long Hanyan had written in his hand, Emo Qingyun clenched his fist and revealed a determined expression. Following that, Emo Qingyun did not stay any longer and returned to the Tianyan mansion. After a short while, Emo Qingyun returned to the Tianyan mansion and went to his room. After returning to his room, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately checked the Light Gate Martial Soul's third Martial Soul super ability. Because of what had happened with Ruoshui, he had not had the chance to check the Light Gate Martial Soul's third Martial Soul super ability. Following that, Emo Qingyun used the Light Gate Martial Soul's third Martial Soul super ability on himself. Once he used the Light Gate Martial Soul's third Martial Soul super ability, Emo Qingyun's face immediately revealed a look of great shock. The Light Gate Martial Soul's third Martial Soul super ability had actually concealed his body and even his aura fluctuations. After discovering that, Emo Qingyun immediately revealed a look of joy and said in surprise, In that case, the Light Gate Martial Soul's third Martial Soul super ability should be the Hidden Door. I wonder how powerful the Hidden Door is. In order to test the power of the Hidden Door, Mo Qingyun directly walked out of his room and headed towards Qi Lian's residence. After a short while, Mo Qingyun arrived at Qi Lian's residence and walked in front of him. In the end, to Mo Qingyun's surprise, Qi Lian did not detect him at all. In other words, under the effect of the Hidden Door, Mo Qingyun could avoid being detected by a Heaven Star Border Stage 1 expert. In addition, Qi Lian was a reincarnated expert at the peak of the Transcendent Realm. His detection power was far superior to that of an ordinary Heaven Star Border Stage 1 expert. In that case, Mo Qingyun's Hidden Door's ability to conceal himself should be able to avoid being detected by a Heaven Star Border Stage 1 expert. After obtaining this result, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and returned to his residence. After returning to his residence, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile and thought to himself, with the help of the Hidden Door, perhaps I can go to the Black Ice Palace to look for Sister Mo Ling. With her help, the chances of finding the Millennium Ice Lotus should be much higher. Oh right, now that I have the help of the Hidden Door, does that mean I can go and see Mother? At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was thinking, an idea sprouted in his mind. The Long family did not have a Heaven Star Border expert. With Long Hanyun's help, if he used the Hidden Door, he might be able to enter the Dragon Repentance Valley. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun could not wait and immediately left the Tianyan Manor. After a short while, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Long Manor. When he arrived outside the Long Manor, Mo Qingyun asked the Long Manor's guards to pass a message for Long Hanyan to come out and see him. Under the guard's transmission, Long Hanyan arrived in front of Mo Qingyun in a short while. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had come to the Long Manor to look for her, Long Hanyan revealed a shy expression and said with a surprised tone, "Qingyun, why are you here?" This seemed to be the first time Mo Qingyun had taken the initiative to come to the Long Manor to look for her. Seeing that Long Hanyan had come out, Mo Qingyun did not beat around the bush and directly told Long Hanyan the purpose of his visit. I have just grasped a special ability that can allow me to conceal myself. Therefore, I would like to ask for your help to bring me into the Dragon Repentance Valley. A special ability that allows you to conceal yourself? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan was shocked and looked at Mo Qingyun in confusion. Seeing that Long Hanyan was puzzled, Mo Qingyun brought her to a secluded place and displayed the Hidden Door. Immediately, Mo Qingyun's figure disappeared in front of Long Hanyan. Seeing this, Long Hanyan's face suddenly changed and revealed an expression of disbelief. Mo Qingyun really disappeared. At this moment, when Long Hanyan was shocked, Mo Qingyun said, "Under the concealment of the Hidden Door, under normal circumstances, powerhouses below the mid-level of Heavenly Dipper Realm will not be able to sense my existence. Therefore, if you bring me to the Dragon Repentance Valley, the people in the Long Manor should not be able to discover me. I will bring you there now." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan did not say anything else and agreed to Mo Qingyun's request. Then, Mo Qingyun followed Long Hanyan into the Long Manor and headed towards the Dragon Repentance Valley. Along the way, the guards and clansmen of the Long Manor all showed respect when they saw Long Hanyan and bowed to Long Hanyan. From this, it seemed that Long Hanyan's position in the Long Manor should be extremely high. After a while, with Long Hanyan leading the way, Mo Qingyun arrived outside a cemetery. On a huge stone tablet outside the cemetery, the words Dragon Repentance Valley were written. This was actually the Dragon Repentance Valley. When Mo Qingyun realized this, he couldn't help but feel a fire burn in his heart. Didn't this mean that Long Rulan had been staying in the cemetery for so many years? The Long family had always treated Long Rulan as a dead person? "Miss Hanyan, you are here to visit Miss Rulan again." Seeing Long Hanyan's arrival, The guards of the Dragon Repentance Valley showed respect and greeted Long Hanyan with a faint smile. From this, it seemed that Long Hanyan had come here often, so the guards were very familiar with her. "Yes, I am going to visit Aunt Rulin," Long Hanyan replied indifferently and walked into the Dragon Repentance Valley. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun quickly followed behind. Then, Emo Qingyun and Long Hanyan entered the Dragon Repentance Valley. "Qingyun, that's where Aunt Rulin lives." After entering the Dragon Repentance Valley, Long Hanyan pointed to a small wooden house on the right and said to Emo Qingyun. After a while, Emo Qingyun and Long Hanyan arrived in front of the small wooden house. When they arrived in front of the small wooden house, a slightly haggard figure appeared in front of Emo Qingyun. She must be Long Rulin. Aunt Rulin. Seeing the figure in front of her, Long Hanyan showed a bright smile and greeted her. "Hanyan, you are here. Come and sit here." Hearing Long Hanyan's words, Long Rulin turned around and greeted Long Hanyan with a faint smile. After sitting down beside Long Rulin, Long Hanyan showed a playful expression and said with a playful smile, "Aunt Rulin, I have brought a special person to see you today. I guarantee that you will be very happy to see him." "You have brought a special person to see me?" Hearing Long Hanyan's words, Long Rulin was puzzled. She shook her head and said with a bitter smile, "This little girl only knows how to talk nonsense. How can anyone be allowed to enter the Dragon Repentance Valley?" From Long Rulin's words, she did not believe that Long Hanyan had brought someone else to see her. "Aunt Rulin, I have really brought a special person to see you." Hearing Long Hanyan's words, Long Hanyan showed a trace of anxiety and immediately said to Long Hanyan. Seeing Long Hanyan's expression, Long Rulin showed a trace of curiosity and said with a faint smile, "Is that so? Then quickly ask that person to come out. Let Aunt see what is so special about him. Qingyun, come out." Hearing Long Rulin's words, Long Hanyan shouted to the void, indicating for Emo Qingyun to appear. Then, Emo Qingyun left the hidden door and slowly appeared in front of Long Hanyan and Long Hanyan. Seeing Emo Qingyun appear, Long Rulin showed a shocked expression and stared at Emo Qingyun with wide eyes. Chapter 370. Hanyan, he is? Long Rulin was shocked to see Emo Qingyun and asked Long Hanyan who was beside her. Long Rulin did not expect that she could not sense Emo Qingyun's presence with her intermediate Heavenly Dipper cultivation level. A person with a cultivation level of level 2 Yuan Dan could actually hide himself in front of her without leaving a trace. She had to admit that Emo Qingyun's concealment skills were too shocking. "Aunt Rulin, can you guess who he is?" Long Hanyan winked playfully when Long Rulin asked about Emo Qingyun's identity. She kept Long Rulin in suspense. Long Rulin sized up Emo Qingyun when she heard Long Hanyan's words. She smiled faintly and said, "You little girl, why are you being so mysterious with me? Is he your little lover?" Little lover. As soon as Long Rulin's words left her mouth, Emo Qingyun and Long Hanyan's faces immediately turned red, revealing embarrassed expressions. "Aunt Rulin, what are you talking about? He's not my little lover." Hearing Long Rulin's words, Long Hanyan had a bashful expression on her face as she spoke coyly. At this moment, Long Hanyan's tone clearly carried a guilty conscience. "Oh, is that so?" Long Rulin's smile deepened when she saw Long Hanyan's expression. She said, "Then tell me, who is he?" "His name is Emo Qingyun." Long Hanyan said Emo Qingyun's name when she heard Long Rulin's words. She said mysteriously to Long Rulin, "Aunt Rulin, take a closer look. Doesn't Qingyun look like someone?" "Emo Qingyun? His surname is Emo and he looks like someone?" Long Rulin shuddered when she recalled Long Hanyan's words. She could not help but think of someone. With her intelligence, she was naturally able to tell who Long Hanyan was referring to. After a round of comparison, Long Luolan was shocked to find that Emo Qingyun was very similar to that person. After discovering this, Long Rulan's expression immediately became excited. She nervously asked Long Hanyan, "Hanyan, could it be that he is?" "That's right. Qingyun is your and Uncle Feiyu's child." Seeing that Long Rulan had guessed Emo Qingyun's identity, Long Hanyan no longer concealed it and nodded at her to confirm. Upon hearing Long Hanyan's words, Long Rulan's body suddenly trembled. The corners of her eyes became somewhat moist as she slowly walked towards Emo Qingyun. The young man in front of her was actually her son. This result was beyond Long Rulan's expectations. Her and Emo Feiyu's child was already so big. "Child, is it really you?" Long Rulan walked up to Emo Qingyun. Her eyes were moist as she raised her hand to caress Emo Qingyun's cheek. She exuded a motherly love. "Mother, it's me." Emo Qingyun felt a strong sense of kinship when he saw Long Rulan in front of him. He felt that blood was thicker than water. "Qingyun, Aunt Rulan, don't just stand there. Come over here and sit down." Long Hanyan gestured to the two of them when she saw how excited they were. She pointed to the chairs beside her. "Yes, let's sit over there and talk." Long Rulan calmed down when she heard Long Hanyan's words. She pulled Emo Qingyun to the side and sat down. "How is Feiyu?" After sitting down, Long Rulan revealed a concerned expression and hurriedly asked Emo Qingyun. "Father is doing well. He's also in Yen capital now." Emo Qingyun replied. He then told Long Rulan about the current situation in the Emo clan. Long Rulan's expression kept changing as she listened to Emo Qingyun's story. Sometimes she was sad, sometimes she was nervous, sometimes she was emotional. "How did you find Han Yen for help?" After listening to Emo Qingyun's narration of the Emo clan, Long Rulan revealed a curious expression as she looked at Emo Qingyun and Long Hanyan. "I had planned to participate in the grand examination first, then ask cousin Yutian for help so that I could meet you. However, I met Han Yen by coincidence." Emo Qingyun briefly explained why he came to Yen capital and how he met Long Hanyan. "If not for Han Yan's help, it would have taken a long time for me to meet you." Recounting the course of events, Emo Qingyun revealed a grateful look and looked at Long Hanyan and said, "Hanyan, it's really good to have you." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Long Hanyan's face immediately reddened, revealing a trace of bashfulness. Long Rulan's expression became complicated when she saw Long Hanyan and Emo Qingyun's actions. There was surprise, joy, well wishes, but more than that, there was worry. The current situation was very similar to her and Emo Feiyu's situation 10 years ago. Was the past going to repeat itself? If that was the case, would Emo Qingyun and Long Hanyan be together? "Child, don't worry. This time, I won't let anyone stop you and Han Yen." After a short silence, Long Rulan secretly made a decision in her heart. Then, Long Rulan smiled faintly. She picked up Long Hanyan's slender hand and smiled at Emo Qingyun. "Since you know that Han Yen is good, you're not allowed to bully Han Yen in the future. Otherwise, I won't let you off." "Aunt Rulan, you're talking nonsense again. Qingyun and I aren't like what you think." Long Hanyan blushed when she heard Long Rulan's words. She was extremely happy. Was this considered meeting her future mother-in-law? Is that so? Then what's it like? Long Rulan smiled when she saw Long Hanyan's shy expression. She teased Long Hanyan again. You two, are so annoying." Long Hanyan was extremely shy when she heard Long Rulan's words. Her face was as red as an apple as she hurriedly ran to the side. Long Rulan smiled happily when she saw Long Hanyan's actions. She looked at Emo Qingyun and smiled faintly. "It looks like Han Yen has deep feelings for you. She's a very kind girl. Don't let her sincerity go to waste." "Mother, don't worry. I'll protect her for the rest of her life." Hearing Long Rulan's words, Emo Qingyun said solemnly with a solemn expression, "That's good." Long Rulan nodded in satisfaction when she heard Emo Qingyun's words. She was very satisfied with Emo Qingyun's answer. At this moment, while Emo Qingyun and Long Rulan were talking, Long Hanyan, who was at the side, would occasionally sneak glances at Emo Qingyun. However, when she saw that Emo Qingyun was also looking at her, her face immediately turned red. She hurriedly turned her head to look elsewhere. Her appearance was extremely cute, like a frightened little rabbit. After that, Long Rulan and Emo Qingyun exchanged a few more words before a curious look appeared on her face. She said, "Tell me about your circumstances over the years." "Okay." Emo Qingyun nodded in response when he heard Long Rulan's words. He then told Long Rulan about his experiences over the years. Long Rulan's expression became complicated when she heard Emo Qingyun's story. There was worry, relief, and joy. Of course, she was more surprised. She never thought that Emo Qingyun's experiences over the years would be so rich. He won first place in the Emo clan's competition. He went to Lianyun City and won first place in the Alchemist Alliance Guild's Disciple Recruitment Competition. He was favored by the Alchemist Alliance Guild's president. He won first place in the Northern Desert Town's town meeting. He removed the poison from Wan Lianyun's body in Lianyun City. He went to the 100 Countries battlefield. Qin Yun's cultivation rose all the way. As a disciple of a small clan, he surpassed the geniuses of large clans. He subdued and sized up Pill Palace realm experts with his true energy realm cultivation. He overbearingly killed strong enemies and protected his clansmen and friends. He walked out of a small clan in a small kingdom and participated in the grand examination where geniuses gathered. Furthermore, in the grand examination, he dominated the 10 seated students of the grand examination, defeated them in a domineering manner, and took first place in the grand examination. Now, Yuan Dan's cultivation was at the second level of the martial realm. He used a concealment technique so that she, a Heaven Star Border realm expert, couldn't sense him. Each and every one of these stories was filled with legendary qualities, causing people to sigh endlessly after hearing them. Of course, other than sighing, Long Rulan's heart ached more. She could imagine that behind Emo Qingyun's success, he had sacrificed a lot of sweat and danger that no one could imagine. At this moment, Long Rulan finally understood that Emo Qingyun's journey wasn't easy. Then, Long Rulan's eyes became wet. She said with a pained expression, "Child, it's been hard on you all these years." "Mother, it's not hard on me." Emo Qingyun shook his head at Long Rulan's words and smiled faintly. "A man should be indomitable and protect his loved ones. I still have a lot to do." A man should be indomitable and protect his loved ones. I still have a lot to do. Long Rulan was moved to tears when she heard Emo Qingyun's words. She looked at Emo Qingyun with a gratified expression. Was this Long Rulan's son? A man who held up the sky for the Emo clan before he was even 20 years old. After a short silence, Long Rulan took out a jade slip and handed it to Emo Qingyun. "This is a soul jade slip that I refined. If you meet any danger in Flame City, crush it. I will help you." And Emo Qingyun didn't reject the soul jade slip that Long Rulan handed over. He raised his hand and received it. Long Rulan was a Heaven Star Border expert. With her help, it would be much easier for Emo Qingyun to do things in the future. After keeping Long Rulan's soul jade slip, Emo Qingyun had a puzzled expression and asked, "Mother, aren't you coming with me to see Father? Because of me, our bloodline lost face. Because of this, Grandfather Tiancheng resigned from his position as the patriarch." Long Rulan revealed a lonely expression when she heard Emo Qingyun's words. Her heart sank a little, and she said, "Later, I came to an agreement with the clan. I came here willingly to be punished, and they wouldn't do anything to your father and the Emo clan." Long Rulan paused for a moment, then said, "However, when I came here to be punished, I swore that if the clan didn't forgive my mistakes and allow me to leave Dragon Regret Valley, I wouldn't take half a step out of it. Qingyun, please apologize to your father on my behalf. I didn't look for you all these years. Mother, let's not talk about the past. Don't worry, I will get you out soon." Chapter 371. It's good that you have such intentions. Hearing Emo Qingyun's thoughts, Long Rulan smiled with relief and said with a pained expression, however, it's not easy to obtain first place in the Academy tournament. It's not something that can be achieved in a short period of time. Don't be too anxious. Just take it step by step. I've already stayed here for more than 10 years, so I'm not afraid of staying here for a few more years. After comforting Emo Qingyun, Long Rulan continued, all these years, I've been absorbing the dragon essence energy in the Dragon Remorse Valley to cultivate. It's not all punishment. If it weren't for the help of the dragon essence energy in the valley, my cultivation wouldn't have broken through to the Heaven Star realm so quickly. And I understand now. Hearing Long Rulan's words, Emo Qingyun nodded in response. Go and call Han Yen over. Don't leave her out in the cold just because you're chatting with me. After exchanging a few more words with Emo Qingyun, Long Rulan gave Emo Qingyun a look, indicating for Emo Qingyun to call Long Han Yen over. Hearing Long Rulan's words, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately walked over to Long Han Yen. A moment later, Emo Qingyun and the other two conversed for a while before Emo Qingyun and Long Han Yen left the Dragon Remorse Valley together. On the way out of the Dragon Remorse Valley, Long Han Yen's expression was heavy, and her tone was a little downcast as she said, Qingyun, great-grandfather Tianren locked Aunt Rulan in the Dragon Remorse Valley. Are you angry with me because of this? Hearing Long Han Yen's words, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied, silly girl, they are them and you are you. I'm not someone who can't differentiate right from wrong. Why would I be angry with you because of this? Don't overthink it. Qingyun, thank you. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Long Han Yen was immediately touched and thanked Emo Qingyun. After that, Emo Qingyun and Long Han Yen spoke a few more words before leaving the Dragon Remorse Valley. After leaving the Dragon Remorse Valley, Emo Qingyun didn't stay any longer. He immediately got up and left the Long Manor, returning to the Tianyan Manor. Mother is a mid-level Heaven Star Realm cultivator. She didn't sense my presence when I used the door of concealment in the Dragon Remorse Valley. On the way back to the Tianyan Manor, Emo Qingyun thought to himself, if that's the case, even mid-level Heavenly Star border experts won't be able to sense my existence when I use the gate of concealment. Thinking of that, Emo Qingyun immediately rejoiced. He became excited and said, if that's the case, won't it be much more convenient for me to do things in the profound Ice Palace? I just have to be on guard against high-level Heaven Star Realm cultivators. After a short moment of surprise, Emo Qingyun suddenly had an idea. He exclaimed, that's right. With the door of concealment, even mid-level Heaven Star Realm cultivators won't be able to sense me. Doesn't that mean I can use the door of concealment on Qilian and have him explore the Blood Refinement Hall? Emo Qingyun could not wait to return to the Tianyan mansion when he thought about this. He quickly returned to the Tianyan mansion. After a while, Emo Qingyun returned to the Tianyan manor. As soon as he returned to the Tianyan manor, Emo Qingyun sent a message to Qilian, asking him to come see him. Young lord, why are you looking for me? After a while, Qilian came before Emo Qingyun and asked Emo Qingyun. Hearing Qilian's words, Emo Qingyun didn't beat around the bush. He said directly, I heard you say that you sensed something special in the Blood Refinement Hall. Hearing Emo Qingyun's question, Qilian replied, that's right. I seem to sense a blood slave in the Blood Refinement Hall. Emo Qingyun said, recently, I've grasped a new ability. When I use it, I can hide from mid-level Heaven Star Realm cultivators. I'll use it on you now. You can explore the Blood Refinement Hall without worry. Thank you, young lord. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Qilian's eyes immediately lit up. He was pleasantly surprised. After that, Emo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer and directly used his martial soul divine ability on Qilian. Under the effect of the door of concealment, Qi Lian immediately disappeared from where he was. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Alright, you can explore the Blood Refinement Hall now. After using the door of concealment on Qi Lian, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at Qi Lian, indicating for him to go to the Blood Refinement Hall. Yes, young lord. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, Qi Lian responded and left the Tianyan Manor. He went to the Blood Refinement Hall. After Qi Lian left the Tianyan Manor, Mo Qingyun returned to his residence and took out a blue pearl from the universe space. This pearl was the Black Ice Spiritual Pearl that he had won from Ling Chong during the Grand Examination. With these Black Ice Spiritual Pearls, my water ultimacy should be able to increase faster. Looking at the Black Ice Spiritual Pearl in his hand, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and started to refine it. Then, under Mo Qingyun's refinement, the Black Ice Spiritual Pearl started to slowly dissipate. When the Black Ice Spiritual Pearl was refined and slowly dissipated, Mo Qingyun's body emitted an icy energy. At the same time, Mo Qingyun's comprehension of the water ultimacy also increased rapidly. Several hours later, under Mo Qingyun's continuous refinement, a Black Ice Spiritual Pearl was finally completely refined. Level 3 Water Ultimacy. Sensing the increase in his water ultimacy, Mo Qingyun was delighted. He was satisfied with the speed of his cultivation. Then, without hesitation, Mo Qingyun took out another Black Ice Spiritual Pearl and prepared to refine it. At this moment, Mo Qingyun was preparing to refine the Black Ice Spiritual Pearl to increase his water ultimacy. Qi Lian sent a message to Mo Qingyun, telling Mo Qingyun that he had returned and was waiting outside the house. After receiving Qi Lian's message, Mo Qingyun put away the Black Ice Spiritual Pearl and opened the door. Seeing the door open, Qi Lian walked into the house. At this moment, there were 3 other middle-aged men behind Qi Lian. Tang Zhan, Tang Rui, Tang Fengtu, quickly greet the master. After Qi Lian walked into the house, his face was cold as he ordered the 3 men behind him. Tang Zhan greets the master. Tang Rui greets the master. Tang Fengtu greets the master. Hearing Qi Lian's order, Tang Zhan and the other 2 men did not dare to hesitate and immediately bowed to Mo Qingyun. 1 Heaven Star Border Stage 4 and 2 Heaven Star Border Stage 3. Seeing the 3's actions, Mo Qingyun revealed a trace of surprise. He was somewhat shocked by the 3's cultivation. After a short moment of shock, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and waved his hand at the 3 men. You 3 can get up. There's no need to be so polite. Thank you very much, young lord. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Tang Zhan and the other 2 men's faces were filled with respect. They thanked him and stood up. After Tang Zhan and the others stood up, Qi Lian pointed at them and introduced them to Mo Qingyun. Tang Zhan was my blood slave in the past, and he's the Hall Master of Blood Refinement Hall now. As for Tang Rui and the others, they're Vice Hall Masters of Blood Refinement Hall, and they've been taken as blood slaves by me. After introducing Tang Zhan and the other 2 men, Qi Lian said, Young lord, now that the entire blood refining palace is under my control, are we going to take action against the Liu family? Not now. Hearing Qi Lian's words, Mo Qingyun waved his hand and said in a deep voice, Try not to let others know about our relationship with the blood refining palace. Yes, young lord. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qi Lian immediately nodded his head in response. Young lord, I have something to report. At this moment, Han Luo's voice rang out from outside as Mo Qingyun and Qi Lian were talking. Mo Qingyun nodded to Qi Lian when he heard Han Luo's voice. He indicated for him to open the door and let Han Luo in. Han Luo, speak. What do you have to report? Mo Qingyun said to Han Luo coldly with a solemn expression when he saw Han Luo enter the room. Young lord, many experts have arrived outside the Tianyan Manor earlier. They seem to want to harm the Tianyan Manor. Han Luo's face was grim when he heard Mo Qingyun's question. He reported to Mo Qingyun. Boom! As Han Luo was reporting, a loud sound rang out from outside the Tianyan Manor. Following that, the ground shook. Someone was breaking through the formation. The expressions of Mo Qingyun and the others immediately changed when they sensed the disturbance outside the manor. A thought immediately occurred to them. Let's go out and take a look. Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He walked out of the room and entered the Tianyan Manor. As soon as Mo Qingyun entered the Tianyan Manor, he saw familiar figures hovering in the air above the Tianyan Manor. Qingyun, what's going on? Who are these people? Mo Hongtian and the others asked Mo Qingyun worriedly when they saw Mo Qingyun's arrival. Grandfather, you don't have to worry. Leave this to me. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he heard Mo Hongtian's words of concern. He comforted them and gestured for them not to worry. Mo Hongtian and the others' expressions turned for the better when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They did not say anything else. After comforting Mo Hongtian and the others, Mo Qingyun raised his head and looked at the people in the air above the Tianyan Manor again. The Lu clan. After sizing them up, Mo Qingyun was shocked. His expression then turned cold. He did not expect that the Lu clan would send themselves to him when he did not find trouble with them. Since that was the case, he had no choice but to be merciless. The Heaven Star Border Stage 2 expert beside Lu Yuanjing doesn't seem to be from the Lu clan. Tang Zhan, who was behind Mo Qingyun, exclaimed in surprise when he was sizing up the people from the Lu clan. Not from the Lu clan? Mo Qingyun's expression changed when he heard Tang Zhan's words. He was surprised by Tang Zhan's words. This person is not from the Lu clan. Could it be that other forces sent people to the Lu clan to deal with me? After a short moment of silence, Mo Qingyun pondered and said in a deep voice, "The only people I've offended in Flame City are the Lu clan, Wang clan, and Ling family. Could this person be from the Ling family and Wang clan?" Tang Zhan's expression turned serious when he heard Mo Qingyun's question. He explained to Mo Qingyun, "Young lord, there are only so many Heaven Star Border Stage 2 experts in Flame City. I have an impression of these people. This person shouldn't be from any of the major forces in Flame City." Not from Flame City? Chapter 372. When the people from the Lu family attacked the Tianyan mansion, many other forces were alerted and hurried over. When the people from these forces arrived and saw the actions of the Lu family, they were immediately shocked. The Lu family was attacking the Tianyan Manor's formation. Were they planning to start a war with the Tianyan Manor? At this moment, everyone was extremely shocked by this scene. Those are the Lu family. They're attacking the Tianyan Manor. It's said that Mo Qingyun's clansmen live in the Tianyan Manor. If that's the case, the Lu family is planning to attack Mo Qingyun's clansmen to take revenge for Mo Qingyun killing Lu Yanjun. I've never seen a Heaven Star Border Stage 2 expert beside Lu Yuanjing. He doesn't seem to be from Flame Capital. So the Lu family found external help. No wonder they're so arrogant. It seems like there's a mastermind behind them. For a moment, the people from the various major forces began to whisper among themselves. At the same time, the news of the Lu family attacking the Tianyan Manor spread throughout Flame Capital. It didn't take long for the news to spread throughout the entire Flame Capital. What? The Lu family is attacking the Tianyan Manor? Doesn't that mean the Tianyan Manor is in danger? No, we have to go and take a look. We have to stop the Lu family from doing this. Lu Yuanjing is really bold. This is good too. We can use him to take revenge for Yao. When the various forces heard about the Lu family's actions, they all rushed to the Tianyan Manor. At this moment, when the various forces were rushing over, in the Tianyan Manor, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold. He made a decision and said coldly, "I don't care if you're sent by Roba or not. Since you dare to attack the Tianyan Manor, you'll all die." Emo Qingyun wouldn't be merciful to his enemies. Moreover, if he killed the Lu family, Qi Lian's cultivation should be able to reach the Heaven Star border stage too. Emo Qingyun wouldn't let go of such an opportunity to increase Qi Lian's strength. Lu Yuanjing, I didn't think that when I didn't look for trouble with your Lu family, you would actually send yourselves to me. Emo Qingyun's expression was cold. He looked at Lu Yuanjing and the others and said coldly, "This is good too. It saves me the trouble of going to the Lu clan to get rid of you." Emo Qingyun, are you joking? You want to exterminate our Lu clan? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Lu Yuanjing immediately burst into laughter and said with disdain, "Don't think that I don't know the strength of your Tianyan manor. I've already investigated your background. Your Tianyan manor doesn't even have a single Heavenly Dipper realm expert. A bunch of Pill Palace experts want to destroy my Lu family? Dream on." "Really?" Hearing Lu Yuanjing's words, the smile on Emo Qingyun's face deepened. He smiled faintly and said, "If that's the case, take a good look and see if there are any Heavenly Dipper realm experts in my Tianyan manor." After Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he turned to look at Tang Zhan and said in a deep voice, "Tang Zhan, I'll use the hidden door on you later. You will cooperate with Qi Lian to kill the enemies." "Yes, young lord." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Tang Zhan's face was filled with respect as he responded to Emo Qingyun. Then, Emo Qingyun cast the hidden door and cast it on Tang Zhan. Then, Tang Zhan's figure disappeared from the spot as he quietly left the Tianyan manor. "Qi Lian, Tang Zhan, kill them. Don't let any of them escape." Seeing Tang Zhan use the hidden door, Emo Qingyun's face darkened and he instructed Qi Lian who was beside him. "Yes, young lord." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Qi Lian walked out of the Tianyan manor and prepared to attack the people of the Lu family. "Young lord, what are we going to do next?" Seeing Emo Qingyun instructing Tang Zhan and Qi Lian, Tang Rui and Tang Fengtu, who were beside Emo Qingyun, asked for help. "Don't attack for now. Just wait here quietly in case the Lu family has a backup plan." Emo Qingyun raised his hand in response to Tang Rui and Tang Fengtu's request, indicating that they shouldn't attack for now. "Emo Qingyun, you sent an old man at the peak of the 9th level of the Pill Palace out. Are you planning to send him to his death?" Seeing Emo Qingyun send Qi Lian out, Lu Yuanjing immediately sneered. His eyes were filled with disdain as he looked at Qi Lian. "Old man, look carefully. Am I at the peak of the 9th level of the Pill Palace?" Hearing Lu Yuanjing's mocking words, Qi Lian revealed a sinister smile and said coldly. Without hesitation, Qi Lian released the demonic Hell Dragon portrait. The moment the demonic Hell Dragon portrait was summoned, it instantly enveloped the people of the Lu family. Under the envelopment of the infernal demonic dragon portrait, the color of the world suddenly changed, as if it had turned into hell. At the same time, scarlet hell demonic dragons flew out from the demonic Hell Dragon portrait and attacked the people of the Lu family. These hell demonic dragons were extremely powerful, and each of them was comparable to a Heaven Star border realm expert. Under their attack, the people of the Lu family immediately fell into a passive position. This is the Heaven Star portrait, the demonic Hell Dragon portrait. Seeing that they were enveloped by Qi Lian's Heaven Star portrait, the people of the Lu family changed their expressions and revealed a look of fear. They had never imagined that there would be a Heaven Star border realm expert in the Tianyan manor. Moreover, this Heaven Star border realm expert's Heaven Star portrait was so powerful. "Everyone, don't hold back. Quickly summon the Heaven Star portrait to block it." After a short moment of shock, Lu Yuanjing and the others summoned the Heaven Star portrait to block the attacks of the Hell Demonic Dragons. The Demonic Hell Dragon portrait. This old man actually condensed such a powerful Heaven Star portrait. It seems like the Yin Chi young lord has underestimated the Tianyan manor. Seeing the appearance of Qi Lian's Heaven Star Border Realm Level 2 expert beside Lu Yuanjing also changed his expression. Bang! Just then, while the Heaven Star Border Realm Level 2 expert was still in shock, a shocking palm energy landed on him and blasted into his body instantly. As soon as this palm energy entered his body, it instantly destroyed his internal organs, causing him to fall into a state of eternal damnation. Middle-level Heaven Star Border Realm. How is this possible? Feeling the domineering palm energy entering his body, the Heaven Star Border Realm Level 2 expert's eyes widened in disbelief. Not only did the Tianyan Manor have the old man who condensed the terrifying Heaven Star portrait, but there was also a middle-level Heaven Star Border Realm expert. At this moment, he suddenly realized that his information was too wrong. But now, he no longer had the chance to regret. He could only widen his eyes and fall from the sky unwillingly. What? Protector Xianfang is dead. Seeing the Heaven Star Border Realm Level 2 expert fall from the sky, Lu Yuanjing and the others' faces twitched in horror. They were the strongest, but Xianfang, a Heaven Star Border Realm Level 2 expert, was killed in the blink of an eye. This scene was too abnormal. How could this be? At this moment, Lu Yuanjing's face was filled with panic and he went crazy. Didn't they say that the Tianyan Manor didn't even have a Heaven Star Border Realm expert? Why did a Heaven Star Border Realm expert appear in the blink of an eye? Moreover, there was an even more terrifying one hidden in the dark. Lu Yuanjing and the others had never thought of such a situation even in their dreams. At this moment, while Lu Yuanjing and the others were terrified, another late-stage Heaven Star Border Realm Level 1 expert was killed silently. Seeing this scene, the Lu family's members were terrified to the extreme. Their faces turned ashen. At this moment they were finally afraid. They didn't know who would be the next to attack them and when. This kind of fear of the unknown was the most terrifying. At this moment, while the Lu family's members were terrified, below the Tianyan Manor, the people from the various major forces were also dumbfounded. Disbelief rose in their hearts. In their opinion, the Tianyan Manor should be the weaker party. But the current situation? The entire situation was reversed. The Lu family was completely in a situation where they were being slaughtered. They couldn't resist at all. This kind of situation was really beyond everyone's expectations. At this moment, a thought rose in everyone's mind. The Tianyan Manor was going to rise. The Tianyan Manor was going to step on the bones of the Lu family and rise to become a first-rate force in Flame City. At this moment, everyone suddenly realized that they seemed to have underestimated the power of the Tianyan Manor. They had underestimated Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun wasn't simple at all. At this moment, everyone gave Mo Qingyun an evaluation in their hearts. While everyone was still in shock, the battle in midair was about to come to an end. Now, only Lu Yuanjing and the two Heaven Star Border Realm experts from the Lu family were still alive. Seeing that the people who came with him were all slaughtered in the blink of an eye, Lu Yuanjing's face was filled with despair. He couldn't believe that this was real. They had a total of 5 Heaven Star Border Realm experts and dozens of Pill Palace Realm experts on this trip, but they were all slaughtered in an instant. At the thought of this, Lu Yuanjing's heart was filled with bitterness. He revealed a pained expression. Of course, other than pain, Lu Yuanjing's heart was filled with fear and terror. Mo Qingyun, we were wrong. I beg you to give us a chance to change. Lu Yuanjing's face was filled with fear as he begged Mo Qingyun. As long as you let me go, I will definitely not hold a grudge against you for killing Lu Yanjun. No, as long as you don't kill us, we can submit to the Tianyan Manor and become their dogs. As though he felt that what he said earlier was wrong, Lu Yanjun immediately begged Mo Qingyun for mercy again. Become Tianyan Manor's dogs? Hearing Lu Yuanjing's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a mocking expression and said disdainfully, Dogs like you who call people master the moment you see them aren't fit to be Tianyan Manor's guards. Therefore, all of you should just die. Chapter 373. Yes, young lord. Qi Lian responded and immediately sneered as he charged into the infernal demon dragon portrait to kill Lu Yuanjing and the others. Tang Zhan also assisted from the side. Lu Yuanjing and the others were unable to resist the joint attack of Qi Lian and Tang Zhan. They were killed by the two of them. Mo Qingyun, the mysterious ice palace won't let you off for killing us. Before Lu Yuanjing died, his face was filled with bitter resentment as he said these cold words to Mo Qingyun. It really is the mysterious ice palace. Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold when he heard Lu Yuanjing's words. He said with some surprise, I didn't expect Roba to act so quickly and plant people in Flame Capital. It seems like I have to be more careful in the future. After thinking for a short while, Mo Qingyun sneered and said disdainfully, I even killed Roba's daughter. Do you think I'll be afraid of adding a few more to the list? At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was sneering, Qi Lian flashed across the sky. In the air, Qi Lian's figure flashed, and he quickly flew down to the Tianyan mansion to collect the corpses of Lu Yuanjing and the others. These corpses were heaven-defying cultivation elixirs to him. He couldn't waste them like this. When Qi Lian collected the corpses, a terrifying aura quickly approached the Tianyan mansion. Mo Qingyun frowned when he sensed the approaching aura. He instructed Tang Zhan and the others, Tang Zhan, retreat first. Don't appear in front of others for the time being. Yes, young lord. Tang Zhan and the others responded and quickly retreated into the house when they heard Mo Qingyun's instructions. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Several figures appeared above the Tianyan mansion. They were all experts from various factions in Flame Capital. Everyone, why have you come to my Tianyan mansion? Mo Qingyun asked with a calm expression as he looked at the people in the sky above the Tianyan mansion. Mo Qingyun is fine? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the people in the sky above the Tianyan mansion were all stunned. Didn't they say that the Lu clan had attacked the Tianyan mansion to take revenge on Mo Qingyun? Why was Mo Qingyun fine, but the Lu clan was nowhere to be seen? This scene was too abnormal. After a brief moment of shock, Huang Zhongyue was puzzled. He looked at Mo Qingyun and asked, Qingyun, are they from the Lu clan? After Huang Zhongyue spoke, the others also revealed curious expressions as they waited for Mo Qingyun's reply. He's been killed. In response to Huang Zhongyue's question, Mo Qingyun's expression was calm as he replied bluntly. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the battle just now had been seen by many people. Even if he wanted to hide it, it was impossible. Already killed? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone's expressions immediately twitched. They were extremely shocked by this result. Everyone from the Lu clan was killed? How was this possible? According to the previous rumors, the Lu clan had come with great momentum this time and had sent out 5 Heaven Star Border experts. The Tianyan mansion had killed 5 Heaven Star Border experts. How was this possible? After a brief moment of shock, Huang Zhongyue's face was filled with shock. He looked at Mo Qingyun and exclaimed, Qingyun, you mean that you killed 5 Heaven Star Border experts from the Lu clan? That's right. In response to Huang Zhongyue's question, Mo Qingyun nodded coldly and said in a deep voice, since they dared to attack the Tianyan mansion, they should be prepared to be killed. Mo Qingyun actually killed 5 Heavenly Dipper realm powerhouses from the Lu family. Hearing Mo Qingyun's reply, everyone got the answer in their hearts and was even more shocked. Immediately after, the way they looked at Mo Qingyun changed drastically. They seemed to have underestimated Mo Qingyun and the Tianyan mansion behind him again. The Tianyan mansion actually had the ability to kill 5 Heaven Star Border experts. In other words, the Tianyan mansion's current strength was already worthy of being a first-rate force. This news was simply too shocking. At this moment, while everyone was still in shock, Emo Qingyun's expression was cold as he instructed Qi Lian, tell Han Luo and the rest to follow me to the Lu clan. Follow me to the Lu clan. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, everyone's expression changed. They were shocked by Emo Qingyun's current actions. Was Emo Qingyun going to pay back the Lu family by uprooting the Lu family? Emo Qingyun, aren't you going overboard by killing so many people in Flame City? After a short moment of silence, Ling Wanhai's expression turned cold as he looked at Emo Qingyun. He said coldly, "Don't tell me you want to openly destroy the peace of Flame City? Or are you saying that you don't even care about the major families in Flame City?" The Lu clan was a vassal force of the Ling family. They were the right-hand men of the Ling family. Ling Wanhai couldn't watch as the Lu clan was destroyed by Emo Qingyun. Even if the Lu clan had lost their Heaven Star border expert, they couldn't be easily destroyed by Emo Qingyun. Otherwise, no other family would dare to rely on the Ling family in the future. If you want to condemn someone, you can always find a pretext. Hearing Ling Wanhai's words, Emo Qingyun sneered. "Old dog of the Ling family, let me ask you now. When the Lu clan attacked my Tianyan mansion, where was the Ling family? Don't tell me their actions aren't destroying the peace of Flame City?" Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Ling Wanhai was at a loss for words. He didn't know how to refute Emo Qingyun. Seeing that Ling Wanhai was at a loss for words, Emo Qingyun sneered. He looked at Ling Wanhai and said, "Old dog of the Ling family, there's a limit to my patience. If you don't want the Ling family to follow in the footsteps of the Lu clan, get lost now. Don't spout nonsense here." Emo Qingyun was threatening Ling Wanhai? Seeing Emo Qingyun's attitude, everyone was shocked. They almost couldn't believe that this was true. The Ling family was one of the 5 major powers in Flame City. Emo Qingyun actually said that he wanted to destroy the Ling family. His actions were too domineering and crazy. Arrogant brat, don't think that you can be arrogant in Flame City just because you killed a few Heaven Star border experts from the Lu clan. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Ling Wanhai's expression darkened. He said coldly, "For the peace of the major families in Flame City, the Ling family will get rid of a threat for Flame City today. Otherwise, the Tianyan Manor will cause trouble in the future." Ling Wanhai slammed his palm down on the Tianyan Manor, trying to break the formation of the Tianyan Manor. Perhaps because of the previous lesson, Ling Wanhai didn't aim his palm at Emo Qingyun. Instead, he aimed it at other places in the Tianyan Manor. It seemed like Ling Wanhai was still fearful of the long-browed Grand Elder's attack. "Ling Wanhai, stop!" Seeing Ling Wanhai attack, Huang Zhongyue's face darkened and he shouted coldly. Then, Huang Zhongyue tried to stop him. However, Ling Wanhai was too fast. He was still a step too late. Bang! Ling Wanhai slammed his palm down on the Tianyan Manor's formation. There was a loud bang and a terrifying yuan power burst out. What shocked everyone was that the Tianyan Manor's formation didn't break under Ling Wanhai's attack. It was too shocking that Ling Wanhai couldn't break the Tianyan Manor's formation with his late-stage Heaven Star border cultivation. After realizing this, Ling Wanhai's face darkened. He said coldly, "So you asked Hall Master Bien of the Formation Hall to help the Tianyan Manor set up a defensive formation. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant." In Ling Wanhai's opinion, Bien Lingbao valued Emo Qingyun very much. It should be Emo Qingyun who asked him to set up a defensive formation in the Tianyan Manor. Hearing Ling Wanhai's words, everyone looked curiously at Bien Lingbao, who was behind Huang Zhongyue. At this moment, Huang Zhongyue also looked curiously at Bien Lingbao like everyone else. He asked, "Hall Master Bien, when did you set up a defensive formation in the Tianyan Manor for Emo Qingyun?" Seeing everyone's gaze, Bien Lingbao looked depressed. He smiled bitterly and said, "Dean, I didn't set up this formation. If I'm not wrong, it should be Emo Qingyun who set it up himself." "Emo Qingyun set it up himself?" Hearing Bian Lingbao's words, everyone was shocked. They couldn't accept this result. How old was Mo Qingyun? He wasn't even 20 years old. A brat who wasn't even 20 years old could set up a formation that could withstand the full force attack of a Heaven Star border cultivator. This was simply too shocking. While everyone was shocked, Bian Lingbao continued to smile bitterly. The defensive formations of the Tianyan Manor may not be of a high grade, but the way they've set them up is extremely ingenious. They've combined several low-grade formations to reach the might of a high-grade formation. Even I can't do something like that. Hearing Bian Lingbao's words, everyone was speechless. There was only more shock in their hearts. Hearing Bian Lingbao's words, it seemed like Mo Qingyun's attainments in formations were above his. A young man who wasn't even 20 years old had attainments in formations that surpassed those who had studied formations for hundreds of years. One had to admit that this talent was too terrifying. Compared to everyone else's shock, the faces of the Lung clan's people instantly turned gloomy. Their killing intent towards Mo Qingyun became even stronger. This brat couldn't be left alive. At this moment, the same thought arose in the Ling family's hearts. In the Ling family's opinion, with Mo Qingyun's terrifying talent, it would be a terrifying thing if they couldn't get rid of him before he spread his wings. Mo Qingyun, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you're good at formations. After calming down, Ling Wanhai's expression turned even colder. He looked at Mo Qingyun and said coldly, "If you want to use formations to protect them, the Tianyan Manor's people will have to hide in their formations like cowards for the rest of their lives. Ling family old dog, don't be too proud. It won't be long before your Ling family will be cowards, hiding in the Ling Manor and not daring to come out." Mo Qingyun replied playfully. He then added, "Also, I'll bring my men to the Lu family now. I'd like to see what you can do to me." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he stood up and walked out of the Tianyan mansion, ignoring the people from the Ling clan. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.